The drunk love confession was sent to the wrong person. Now the female CEO wants to be my wife. Jiang Chen was reborn and decided to help his friend, Little Wolf, confess his feelings. However, due to a drunken headache, he mistakenly sent the confession to the ice-cold CEO, Zining. It feels abrupt to bring this up out of the blue. But I've endured nights of longing and carried the weight of a secret crush. Jiang Chen started with some cheesy pickup lines, delivering them with unwavering confidence. The next day, in the CEO's office, Jiang Chen, maybe we could give it a try. Jiang Chen, try what? He pulled out his phone, completely stunned. Did I really send all those love messages to my boss last night? And she actually agreed? Jiang Chen was dumbfounded when suddenly a mechanical voice chimed in, "Ding, congratulations to the host for awakening the lover's bond system." Chapter 1, Drunk, Charging Up for Love Confessions. Blue Star Planet, Huajian Court Residential Area. Jiang Chen groggily opened the door and looked at the familiar surroundings. He let out a long breath. Thank goodness, I didn't walk into Aunt Wan's place next door by mistake. Women in their 30s are like wolves, and in their 40s, they're like tigers. If I really went in there, I wouldn't have gotten away. Drunk, Jiang Chen's face was slightly flushed, adding a bit of roguishness to his look. His furrowed brows gave him a heroic vibe, his side profile was strikingly handsome, and his 183 centimeters height made him all the more attractive. In fact, he had been reborn. When he woke up at noon, he found that he had traveled back in time to when he had just graduated and started working. Being reborn meant he could take advantage of this temporal gap and seize the opportunity for wealth. Wouldn't this life be a straight shot to success? After work, without hesitation, Jiang Chen dragged his friend Little Wolf out for a drinking spree. At that moment, his phone rang. It was Little Wolf calling. "Chinbro, you made it home, right? My hands are shaking now. Just waiting for you to work your magic." Earlier, during their meal and drinks, Little Wolf had decided to confess to the girl he had secretly admired for a long time. But since he wasn't good with words and didn't know how to express his feelings, he turned to Jiang Chen for help. Jiang Chen, who had been a high school heartthrob, with love letters stuffing his backpack every day. Hearing Little Wolf's words, Jiang Chen smirked slightly. "Don't worry, bro. I got this. I'll make sure you win over Secretary Zhang, just watch me work." Little Wolf chuckled. "Alright, Chen bro. Here's the plan. To make sure you really get a feel for what Secretary Zhang is thinking, whatever she replies, I'll send it straight to you. In our chat, you'll be me, and I'll be Secretary Zhang. You just reply directly, and I'll copy and paste it." Jiang Chen was briefly stunned. This plan was pretty clever. It's like being in the moment, recreating the confession scene. Whatever Little Wolf sends will be what Secretary Zhang actually replies. Jiang Chen could then respond, and Little Wolf would just copy and paste. This cuts out a lot of hassle. "No problem, bro, go for it. I'll put all my skills to use and help you win the girl tonight." After hanging up the phone, Jiang Chen's vision went dark for a moment. Damn, I really drank too much just now. At this point, all Jiang Chen wanted to do was crash into bed. But since he had already agreed to help Little Wolf, and got a free meal out of it, he couldn't just back out. "Alright, let's get to work." Jiang Chen opened the messaging app, clicked on the chat, and quickly typed out 2 messages. "I know bringing this up suddenly might feel a bit abrupt. But I've endured nights of longing, carried the weight of a long-lasting crush, and decided it's time to confess my love to you." The moment the love expert makes a move, you can tell if it's effective. But Jiang Chen was too tired. All his attention was focused on the text box at the bottom of the screen. Because Little Wolf wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, Jiang Chen was worried he might make typos, which could mess things up when Little Wolf copy-pastes the messages. After all, in a confession, attitude is crucial. So, Jiang Chen didn't notice who he was actually messaging. The contact wasn't labeled Little Wolf but CEO Zining. At the Huayang International headquarters, in the CEO's office, it was already 10 p.m., but the lights were still bright. Zining was bent over, processing documents. Suddenly, her phone buzzed twice. Zining's sharp eyes furrowed slightly as she looked up, revealing a face so stunningly beautiful it could take one's breath away. Delicate brows, a beauty mark under her right eye, and fair skin. This late at night, what kind of message could it be? Unlocking her phone, Zining opened the messaging app. She found that Jiang Chen from the company's R&D department had sent her 2 messages. Zining had a deep impression of Jiang Chen. A recent graduate with great R&D talent. Just this afternoon, she had even discussed a new perfume proposal with him. And that devilishly good-looking face of his. Even Su Zining would sneak a glance now and then. Even an ice-cold CEO needs some eye candy, right? But when Su Zining read the 2 messages Jiang Chen had sent, her blood pressure instantly skyrocketed. She furrowed her brows deeply and immediately replied with a question mark. She didn't understand. Back at Huajin Court, Jiang Chen gasped. No way, Secretary Zhang only replied with a question mark? Others might not know, but Jiang Chen knew better than anyone he was reborn. After all, he knew one thing for sure: Secretary Zhang already had feelings for little wolf. So logically, her response shouldn't have been like this. After some thought, I get it, she's just playing hard to get. A flash of insight crossed Jiang Chen's mind, and he smirked. Looks like it's time to up the ante with some corny love lines. Oh, wait. These cheesy pickup lines don't even exist yet, right? To win over a girl who already has a soft spot for the guy, corny love lines are perfect. Jiang Chen was delighted. What a stroke of genius. You're making me feel a bit confused. But I also sense something strange in the air. Jiang Chen chuckled inwardly. Who would have thought that the cheesy pickup lines force-fed to him by short video apps in his previous life would actually come in handy for helping his friend confess his love? What kind of strange feeling? Seeing Little Wolf send another message, Jiang Chen quickly replied, a sweet feeling. Even though you only replied with a question mark. But anything you say feels sweet to me. Are you being cold because you're a bit tired? Su Zining stared at the messages popping up on her screen and couldn't stay calm. She couldn't understand what was going through Jiang Chen's mind. How could he say such cringy lines to his boss? Just a question mark, and he says it's sweet? What happened to this young, talented, and handsome employee? After some thought, Su Zining decided it was time to have a serious talk with Jiang Chen. She replied, I'm not tired. If you focus on your work, I'll be more relaxed. Actually, you have great art talent. You don't have many flaws. If you work hard, you'll have a bright future. Stop wasting time on these pointless, cringeworthy lines that make people's skin crawl. Jiang Chen was stunned. See, I was right. Secretary Zhang really does have feelings for Little Wolf. She even said Little Wolf has great talent? Goodness, a guy who struggles to type 3 words all afternoon has art talent? Little Wolf doesn't have any flaws? Damn, at this moment, Jiang Chen was certain. Secretary Zhang is definitely seeing Little Wolf through rose-colored glasses. Well, in that case, things just got easier. Jiang Chen raised his hand, ready to unleash more cheesy pickup lines. Meanwhile, Su Zining thought she had already laid things out clearly. Jiang Chen should reflect on himself, right? Young people are bound to be impulsive, it's normal. As long as he recognizes his mistake, it's fine. But unexpectedly, her phone buzzed again. Jiang Chen had replied. You must be really tired today because you've been running through my mind all day. To be honest, I have a big flaw, and that is, I'm missing you. Chapter 2, A Confession? Jiang Chen is a pro. Are these really words crafted by human linguistic skills? Tired? Because you've been running in my heart all day. And indeed, I have a flaw, I'm missing you. How did Jiang Chen even manage to say this? Although Su Zining's expression remained icy, a strange feeling stirred within her heart. She responded with a rolling eyes emoji. Back in Huajian Courtyard Residential Complex, Jiang Chen shook his head, still feeling dizzy and pained. But for the sake of his buddy Xiao Lang, he forced himself to continue analyzing the situation. This rolling eyes gif, does it really indicate disdain? Or maybe, a bit of shyness? Jiang Chen sighed deeply, confidently assuming it was the latter. As someone who's been reborn, he had to admit, cheesy pickup lines can be really cringy and embarrassing. However, the first time someone hears such cheesy lines, whether it's on a messaging app like QQ, they're bound to feel a little blush and heart flutter, right? The only issue with cheesy lines is that they shouldn't be overused. Otherwise, women will get tired of them. It's time to mix things up with some heartfelt memories. Jiang Chen's thoughts quickly shifted, and he sent several messages. In truth, at first, I only liked you. But last year at the company's annual party, when you made your entrance, a ray of sunset happened to shine on your profile. I was mesmerized, enchanted. You were so beautiful. I made a vow, clenching my fists, I will make sure you belong to me. Your person, and your heart. This is my most sincere and passionate promise. At that moment, my liking transformed into love. Xiao Lang was just an ordinary employee in the R&D department, while the secretary was the CEO's personal assistant. Clearly, there was a status gap between them. Moreover, what Jiang Chen said about the annual party was true. The secretary had indeed attended with the CEO, Su Zining. A ray of sunset shone right through the floor-to-ceiling windows at that moment. However, while Xiao Lang was looking at the secretary, Jiang Chen had his eyes on Su Zining. Even though Jiang Chen felt that Su Zining had an ice-cold expression that screamed "stay away," there was no denying her stunning beauty, a rare gem in the world. Ahem, getting off track. Jiang Chen simply refused to believe it. The secretary already had feelings for Xiao Lang. After this wave of sincere confessions, how could she possibly resist? Hurry up and accept it. I'm about to pass out from exhaustion. How could she claim to like Xiao Lang and still not accept his confession? That's just leading him on. When simple characters string together into words, and when those words are imbued with the heartfelt touches and genuine feelings of a passionate person, they become the most beautiful confessions. Su Zining was slightly dazed as she read the messages. Her thoughts drifted back to last year's company annual party. After she and the secretary finished organizing some documents, they arrived fashionably late at the banquet hall. The moment they pushed open the door, a ray of sunset light happened to illuminate her profile. At that moment, she also noticed Jiang Chen's gaze. His strikingly handsome face stood out amidst the crowd. Back then, she didn't feel anything special, but now, in retrospect, that gaze so gentle, so pure. Was Jiang Chen already in love with me at that time? Su Zining shook her head in astonishment. She felt a bit flustered, a bit overwhelmed, with her heart pounding like a startled deer. Su Zining didn't rush to reply but instead went to wash her face. Taking a deep breath, she muttered, Jiang Chen's gaze, now that I think about it, was really so pure and sincere. After a moment of silence, she picked up her phone again. This time, her hands were slightly trembling as she typed. During her youth, there were times when she felt the flutter of first love, like back in college when she watched others pair off. Even Su Zining wasn't immune to envy. She never lacked suitors, but she was always too aloof. Standing there like an ice mountain, her very presence discouraged 99% of guys. She had received love letters before, but never bothered to read them. She preferred conversations expressed through spoken words. But now, even though it wasn't an in-person confession, this earnest dialogue. This was Su Zining's first experience. As the first person to confess to her in such a manner, Jiang Chen gently pried open a small crack in the door to Su Zining's heart. She replied, I remember that moment, we did lock eyes. It's been almost a year, hasn't it? Your words moved me deeply, thank you for liking me. As a woman, I should accept your feelings. But as a professional, I have to refuse. I need to focus on my work, I'm very busy, and you're still young, you need to focus too. I can't waste your youth. You deserve a brighter future. So, I'm sorry. Receiving these 5 consecutive messages left Jiang Chen wide-eyed. He took a sharp breath, stunned. Wow, this Secretary Zhang really isn't easy to win over. If he hadn't been reborn, he might have been fooled by her, but Jiang Chen remembered everything clearly. In his previous life, this was exactly when Secretary Zhang and Xiao Lang got together. With blurred vision, Jiang Chen smacked his lips. Now, what should be the next move? Cheesy lines won't work anymore, they've lost their freshness. Constantly making grand promises seems insincere. Well, an idea suddenly struck Jiang Chen. What do women lack most? A sense of security. So, the key is to promise her security. As the CEO's personal assistant, Secretary Zhang had to review countless documents daily. And people tend to be influenced by those around them. Spending all that time with the icy CEO Su Zining had turned Secretary Zhang into a stern-faced person as well. Jiang Chen felt that this could be leveraged. Here's what he decided to say. Is youth just staring at piles of documents? Without even the right to choose love? Wearing a stern, cold expression every day? In my eyes, you shouldn't be like that. At your age, you should be smiling happily. I know you lack a sense of security. I may not be that good-looking, but I'm reliable. I naturally bring a sense of security, you know. And I'm quite humorous, I can keep you smiling. Jiang Chen smirked slightly. These few lines completely reframed Xiao Lang's shortcomings into strengths. In reality, Xiao Lang wasn't humorous, he was a clown. And his sense of security? That was just his chubby figure. But for the sake of his buddy's happiness, Jiang Chen had to stretch the truth. It still felt like something was missing. Right. The desire to conquer. Everyone has both the urge to conquer and the desire to be conquered. Especially for a more mature woman like Secretary Jiang. Recalling some of the domineering CEO novels he'd glimpsed before, Jiang Chen added one last line, almost out of instinct. Woman, don't fail to recognize what's good for you. Chapter 3, Jiang Chen, President Su is looking for you. After reading Jiang Chen's string of messages, Su Zining felt like she was on the verge of breaking down. Did Jiang Chen just call me woman? And he even told me not to be ungrateful? This is clearly the most handsome guy I've ever met, yet Jiang Chen thinks he's just average looking? So domineering yet humble. Her cheeks flushed with a rosy tint, and her breathing quickened. Her heart was racing as if running countless marathons. Woman, don't be ungrateful. I think you lack a sense of security, and I can give it to you. I believe you shouldn't be this cold and distant. You should be happy, smiling with a joyful expression. A faint smile played on Su Zining's lips as she softly murmured, "What a gentle yet domineering confession." These words struck right at the fragile heart hidden beneath Yen Ruoshua's tough exterior. Being strong is a front for others. Even as the CEO of a billion-dollar listed company, she's still just a young woman in her early 20s. Safety, happiness, and smiles, these are things she rarely experiences. What she faces daily are piles of tedious documents, endless business negotiations, and never-ending social events. Jiang Chen's words triggered a profound emptiness and exhaustion within her. Su Zining's eyes were vacant as she stared at her phone screen. For a moment, the documents before her no longer held any interest. Resting her delicate hand on her chin, draped in an OL blazer, Su Zining looked stunning. Yet, all she could think about was Jiang Chen on the other side of the screen. Is he nervous? Is he eagerly waiting for my response? At this moment, a bold idea popped into Su Zining's mind. Her body trembled as she prepared to reply. After what felt like an eternity, she managed to type out the word OK. But after much hesitation, she didn't send it. Instead, she shook her head slightly and deleted the text. Phew, that was close. I almost made a huge mistake. If I agreed to Jiang Chen's confession right now, wouldn't that make me seem too easy? No way. I can't agree so quickly. Who accepts a confession through a screen, anyway? Humph. Jiang Chen really doesn't understand the importance of a proper occasion. After pondering it over, Su Zining finally typed out a message, "Come to my office tomorrow morning." 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. Half an hour. She still hadn't received a reply from Jiang Chen. Su Zining felt anxious, as if she had just gone through a world war. Is Jiang Chen thinking I rejected him? Did I hurt his feelings? He confessed so sincerely. Why did I say we should wait until tomorrow? I clearly already made up my mind to say yes. I'm being so difficult, aren't I? Maybe I should give him a hint? Biting her lip, Su Zining posted on her social media, "In physics, they say that once heat starts transferring, time can't go back." Blushing deeply, she thought to herself, he should get the hint, right? That night, some people were destined to stay awake, while others had already fallen into a deep sleep. Yes, Jiang Chen was one of the latter. It wasn't that Jiang Chen didn't want to respond, he had already used all his knowledge and charm. If Secretary Jiang was still playing hard to get, there was nothing more he could do. Also, her responses were so slow that Jiang Chen simply couldn't hold out any longer and fell asleep. The next day, at leg group. At 7:59 a.m. Jiang Chen successfully clocked in. "Chen, Zining just asked me to let you know that President Su is looking for you. She said you should head to her office as soon as you get here, it seems urgent." Zining? It took a moment for Jiang Chen to realize that was Zhang Ziying's full name. Seems like things went well for her and the little wolf. Great, I knew it, using all my knowledge would be enough to help him win over Secretary Jiang. Alright, I'll head over in a bit. Congrats, bro, on winning over the woman you love. The little wolf grinned, clearly immersed in bliss. Last night, after calling Jiang Chen, he felt guilty about bothering him. Knowing Jiang Chen was probably dealing with a massive hangover, he didn't want to disturb him further. Besides, he figured he could handle confessing on his own. So, without sending a single message to Jiang Chen, he managed to win over Zhang Zining with just 3 sentences. Of course, Jiang Chen had no clue about any of this yet, as he was on his way to Su Zining's office. At the entrance, he happened to bump into Secretary Jiang. Jiang Chen, be careful, President Su seems a bit off this morning. Jiang Chen was puzzled. Su Zining, acting unusual? Isn't being cold and distant her normal state? What do you mean, off? Frowning slightly, Secretary Jiang shook her head. Well, it's hard to describe, but she's acting like I did last night after the little wolf confessed, kinda shy. Jiang Chen almost jumped in shock. What? That can't be right. Su Zining, acting shy like a little girl? What on earth could have happened to make this ice-cold woman behave that way? Got it, thanks. Nodding, Jiang Chen entered Su Zining's office with Secretary Jiang holding the door for him. To be honest, it wasn't his first time in Su Zining's office. Every time he visited, he couldn't help but be amazed. Luxury in one word. From the paintings on the walls to the exquisite porcelain, everything was valuable. The air was filled with a faint fragrance as Su Zining sat at her desk. President Su, you wanted to see me so early, what's up? Jiang Chen assumed it was about the design proposal he submitted yesterday afternoon. Su Zining raised her eyes to meet his gaze, a faint blush coloring her cheeks. Do you have anything more to say about last night? Her question left Jiang Chen momentarily stunned. Last night? The proposal was submitted in the afternoon, so what happened last night? Drinking, helping the little wolf confess, nothing seemed to connect to Su Zining. President Su, last night? Since arriving at the office, Su Zining had been waiting for Jiang Chen. She barely slept 2 hours, tossing and turning all night. She was worried that she might have conveyed the wrong message, making Jiang Chen think she was rejecting him. Seeing his confused expression now only confirmed her fear. So should I explain? That would be so awkward. I'm his boss, after all. But after what seemed like forever, Su Zining's neck was tinged with a light shade of red as she softly spoke. Jiang Chen, regarding your confession last night, I want to clarify something. I wasn't rejecting you, I just thought we should talk face to face. Jiang Chen was dumbfounded. What? Did Su Zining say confession? Did I confess to this ice-cold woman? Has the world gone crazy, or am I losing it? His mind raced, and Jiang Chen came to one conclusion. The world might go crazy, and he might go crazy, but this ice-cold woman wouldn't. So, Su Zining must be telling the truth. Which means, did I actually confess to her? What the heck is going on? Jiang Chen was losing his mind. Chapter 4, You Are My Beloved. At that moment, Su Zining spoke again. She seemed completely different from her usual self, the Ice Queen who kept others at a distance. That persona was nowhere to be found. Instead, she was now a woman deeply moved by her emotions. Her blushing cheeks added a unique charm. Last night, she had already spent the whole evening convincing herself. Her gaze remained fixed on Jiang Chen's handsome face, growing fonder the more she looked at him. The thoughts in her mind grew more and more numerous. With furrowed brows and gritted teeth, Su Zining's voice was as faint as a buzzing mosquito. Jiang Chen, your sincerity truly moved me, she murmured. I think we can give it a try. As soon as she finished speaking, Su Zining quickly buried her head in the files on her desk, too embarrassed to meet Jiang Chen's eyes. Her flustered movements were exactly like a girl experiencing her first crush. Jiang Chen, on the other hand, was completely dumbfounded. His mind was in a chaotic whirl as he shook his head vigorously. Su Zong, let's hold off on talking for a moment, I need to process this, he stammered. 5 minutes, just give me 5 minutes. Su Zining didn't lift her head but couldn't help smiling faintly at the corners of her lips. Biting her lower lip, she nodded like a little chick pecking at grains. Okay. Jiang Chen exhaled a long breath and quickly pulled out his phone. He opened up QQ, where he immediately saw the chat history between him and Su Zining. A chill ran down his spine as he anxiously clicked into the conversation. What the, he cursed softly, a perfect blue star curse word slipping out. Jiang Chen was stunned. It turned out that last night, while helping his friend Xiao Lang with a confession, he had accidentally sent some cheesy romantic lines to Su Zining instead. The focus on giving her a sense of security, triggering her desire to be cherished, it all worked together to melt the Ice Queen into what she was now. And now, she even seemed inclined to accept him? Man, I'm the one who unintentionally pulled off this masterstroke. Jiang Chen thought. Meanwhile, Su Zining was having a hard time expressing her emotions for the first time in her 20-some years of life. Stealing glances at Jiang Chen only made her more smitten. She even found his earlier outburst of what the kind of endearing. This dummy Jiang Chen finally figured it out. Hearing me agree has left him stunned. It must feel a bit unreal, huh? Humph, with such a heartfelt confession, it's only natural I'm not made of stone. She mused. Jiang Chen? Have you recovered now? Zining finally spoke up again. Jiang Chen scratched his head. He had, indeed, calmed down. Let's recap. Day 1 of rebirth, got drunk, sent romantic messages by mistake, and ended up getting the Ice Queen to fall for me. What now? To be honest, he couldn't say he wasn't tempted. But the thought of facing a cold expression every day was less than appealing. Women are unpredictable. Sure, Zining is all shy and sweet right now, but give it a few days. Accepting might lead to some tough times, but rejecting seems even worse. Just as Jiang Chen was still mulling over things, a mechanical voice echoed in his mind. Ding! Congratulations, host, for partially awakening the love bond system, potential lover, Zining. Beauty rating, 95 points. Please make your choice. 1. Reveal the truth and reject Zining, then search for the next potential lover. Reward, title, dropping the ball. 2. Play along and officially become Zining's lover. Reward, fully awaken the system and unlock all functions. Receive a reward of 5 million RMB and 1,000 bond points. See the system manual for details. A system? Jiang Chen knew exactly what that meant, a golden key to dominating life, the ultimate cheat code for reborn protagonists. Accept Zining and get a cash reward? Sure, a gentleman loves money, but would I, Jiang Chen, let cash dictate my choices? Of course not. With a light cough, Jiang Chen met Zining's gaze head-on. Suzon, all I can say is, he paused, straightening up. Every word I said last night was carefully considered and came from the heart. I, Jiang Chen, am not a man who casually says I love you. You know, every day, there's one image that keeps playing in my mind. Yes, one should stand firm against poverty and not be swayed by wealth. But hey, why give up the watermelon and go for the sesame seeds instead? Plus, even if I'm not doing it for the money, how could I not agree? In that very moment, Jiang Chen realized something. Of all people, why did my drunken texts end up going to Zining and not someone else? It's fate. You don't reject a wife you've worked so hard to win over. That would be insane. What image? Zining asked softly. Jiang Chen smiled, stood up, and walked over to Zining's side. Leaning in slightly, he caught the faint fragrance wafting from her. For a long time, I've imagined what my life would be like if I really were with you, he began. There's one scene that keeps playing in my mind. A lazy afternoon, you, me, the deep blue sea, golden sands. And a little kid, chattering away. Seabirds soaring overhead, a perfect moment frozen in time. We grow old together. Zining, do you want to paint that picture with me? Zining's heart raced wildly. This, Jiang Chen really nailed the confession. A woman begins to fall for a man when she starts imagining a future with him. And now, Zining was completely lost in this serene, beautiful vision. This is just too perfect. And is that Jiang Chen's heartbeat I hear? He's so romantic. If earlier she was thinking, Jiang Chen, let's give it a try, now she was thinking, Jiang Chen, I want to be your girlfriend. Coming back to her senses, Zining turned slightly, locking eyes with Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen, she murmured. Jiang Chen grinned slyly. What does that mean? Does it mean yes or no? He teased. He wasn't ready to let Zining off that easily. After all, having a high and mighty CEO suddenly turn into a bashful girlfriend was something any guy would find hard to resist. Zining clenched her small fists and pouted slightly. Isn't it obvious what it means? After all, she was the president of the Leish Group. With a small smirk, Zining pointed delicately at her chest. Since I've already said yes, she said softly, you, naturally, are my beloved. In that instant, the system's notification echoed again in Jiang Chen's mind. Ding! Congratulations, host, on fully activating the love bond system. Lover, Zining. Reward has been granted. Jiang Chen didn't even pay attention to what the system was saying. He was too busy taking a deep breath in astonishment. Zining was being this flirty? Man, this move. Not only did I not lose anything, I've hit the jackpot. Chapter 5, yes, it's the CEO's cousin. Su Zining, standing before him, looked like a wolf in sheep's clothing, teasing yet shy, her gaze occasionally drifting toward Jiang Chen. After saying her piece, she froze, unsure of where to place her hands. Just then, a knock came at the door. President Su, Mr. Wang from Tianlei Group will arrive in 10 minutes. Do you want to prepare? The voice of Zhang Xiying, Su Zining's assistant, came through. She was concerned about Jiang Chen, considering he was close to her friend, Xiao Lang. Su Zining was acting unusually today, and with Jiang Chen inside for so long, she figured he must have been put through the ringer. Understood, Su Zining's cold voice responded. 5 minutes later, Jiang Chen emerged from the office. Did President Su make things difficult for you? Zhang Xiying couldn't help but ask. Jiang Chen was momentarily stunned. Make things difficult? Would insisting on being my girlfriend count? Probably not, right? It was fine. President Su was reasonable, Jiang Chen replied vaguely, leaving Zhang Xiying puzzled. She watched him walk away, scratching her head. Jiang Chen didn't look as distressed as she had expected. How could that be? After talking with President Su for half an hour, even if he didn't break down crying, he should at least be frowning, right? Pushing aside her doubts, Zhang Xiying entered Su Zining's office. President Su, I've arranged for Mr. Wang to wait in the conference room. Okay, Su Zining responded, still maintaining her icy demeanor. Yet Zhang Xiying couldn't help but notice a faint blush on Su Zining's face. Curiosity piqued, she stole a few more glances. President Su looked much better like this than usual. Su Zining was panicking inside. Why is Zhang looking at me like that? Am I still blushing? Oh no, this is way too embarrassing. Xiao Zhang, grab the documents. Let's go discuss the partnership. Su Zining quickly changed the topic, stood up, and briskly walked out. The moment she stepped out the door, her cold expression returned. Meanwhile, in the R&D department, Jiang Chen had just sat down at his desk when Wang Han and Song Ziyu hurried over. Brother Chen, I made some porridge this morning. Have you eaten yet? Jiang Chen, Xiao Lang mentioned you were drinking last night. Do you still have a headache? These two women were colleagues in the same department as Jiang Chen. Simply put, they were drawn to his looks. Jiang Chen perfectly fit their ideal partner criteria. So, they made extra efforts to win him over. They were attractive enough, but next to Jiang Chen, it was a bit of a stretch. No need, you can go now. I've got some work to do, Jiang Chen said dismissively. The two women left, visibly disappointed. Just then, Xiao Lang, grinning widely, sidled up to Jiang Chen. Brother Chen, what's going on? Turning down porridge from a caring little sister and some tender care? Did getting rejected by Zhang's secretary hit you that hard? Is the legendary playboy finally reforming? Playboy? Jiang Chen shot Xiao Lang a glare. Just because I'm good looking doesn't make me a player. Jiang Chen didn't feel like scolding Xiao Lang too much, though, considering things had turned out well despite the situation. It's nothing. I've started dating someone, so I don't want to accept things from other women. Xiao Lang sucked in a sharp breath. Dating? Holy crap, nobody else knows where Jiang Chen went this morning, but he does. Straight to President Su's office. And now he's in a relationship? The answer's pretty clear. Swallowing nervously, Xiao Lang looked at Jiang Chen. Brother Chen, you've really hit the jackpot. Tell me, which cousin did President Su introduce you to? With her looks, her cousin must be just as stunning. Brother-in-law of the CEO, Brother Chen, don't forget about me when you're rich. Jiang Chen rolled his eyes. Cousin? Why can't it be Su Zining herself? Xiao Lang's eyes widened. He quickly looked around, making sure no one overheard Jiang Chen before sighing in relief. Brother Chen, don't say stuff like that. President Su is out of our league. Jiang Chen shrugged and smirked. You think I'm not a match for her? Xiao Lang scratched his head awkwardly. Brother Chen, with your face, forget President Su. Even a goddess would be within reach. But we all know what President Su's like, right? Has she ever smiled at a guy? Always so stern, people even suspect she's not into men at all. Remember old Lee from our department? He swore that whoever manages to win over President Su, he'd livestream himself getting whacked by 5 electric fans, and all the gifts from the stream would be given as a wedding present. He's been with the company for years. He wouldn't make that bet if he didn't think it was impossible. Jiang Chen's eyebrow shot up. Wait, really? So if I reveal the truth now, old Lee's going to have to honor his bet? Wow, no, that's too cruel. That seems too much to even imagine. I'll let him off the hook. Yeah, it's the CEO's cousin, Jiang Chen said nonchalantly. Xiao Lang sighed in relief. Now that sounds more realistic. He gave Jiang Chen a thumbs up, while Jiang Chen could only return a helpless look before zoning out at his desk. Work in the R&D department mainly involves designing product concepts. For a reborn man like Jiang Chen, with insights a decade ahead, such tasks are a breeze. And really, what's work without a little slacking off? By 11 a.m. Jiang Chen had casually whipped up a design proposal in just 20 minutes, though it was quick. The design, complete with background story, was flawless. It was the kind of work that would take others days to finish. With a cup of tea in hand, Jiang Chen prepared to clock out right at noon. Just 2 minutes before noon, the R&D director, Wang Hai, entered the office. This morning, President Su and Mr. Wang from Tianlei Group finalized the initial plans for the SK Immortal Water perfume. The perfume will be promoted through both our Ledger Group and Tianlei Group's channels. The product launch is on a tight schedule, so I need everyone to submit a design proposal by the end of the day. If your design gets selected, the reward is 100,000 yuan. Wang Hai's announcement was met with groans from the entire department. It was already halfway through the day, and they still had to come up with a design proposal? That's insane. But a 100,000 yuan bonus? Whoa, this was a shot at instant wealth. What if, by some stroke of luck, theirs got picked? Everyone exchanged determined glances and silently agreed to skip lunch. Many immediately opened their food delivery apps, planning to grab a quick bite before diving into their designs. The message was clear: no lunch break, time to work overtime. This was exactly the outcome Wang Hai had hoped for. At noon, he looked at the employees still hard at work, nodding in satisfaction. Now this is the fighting spirit young people should have. Meals can be kept simple, or even skipped altogether. Starvation doesn't kill you. Devotion to work is what matters. Truly, a group of great employees. Lost in self-congratulation, Wang Hai suddenly noticed Jiang Chen zipping by him. It's lunchtime, gotta head home quick. Man, I'm starving. Time to eat, time to eat. Chapter 6, A Lucky Draw Graph Limited Edition Necklace. It wasn't that Jiang Chen was in no hurry to write the proposal, it's just that the draft he casually typed earlier could easily be adapted into the design for the SK Divine Water perfume. With his task already completed, why shouldn't he take a lunch break? No work, no overtime, what's wrong with taking a break? But from Wang Hai's perspective, it wasn't so simple. Everyone else was working overtime, diligently boosting his performance. And Jiang Chen dares to leave? How could he even think of doing that? Stop right there, Jiang Chen. Wang Hai called out, don't you have any sense? Can't you see what everyone else is doing? And you have the nerve to go home and take a nap? Jiang Chen turned around and gave Wang Hai a glare. Asterisk, I can't be bothered with you. Don't go looking for trouble. Asterisk. Jiang Chen knew full well that Wang Hai's specialty was making empty promises, getting employees to work overtime while he quietly counted his money. What's wrong with taking a nap? There's no overtime pay anyway. Jiang Chen retorted. Tell you what, give me $10 and I'll stay. Wang Hai was speechless. This whole push for overtime was his own idea. He saw that Su Zining seemed in a good mood today, so he wanted to speed up the proposal submissions to take the credit. Overtime pay? It's not an official company policy, so there's none. Pay out of his own pocket? Not a chance. As the department head, doesn't his word carry weight? This overtime will count toward your attendance record, Wang Hai finally threatened. If you leave, I'll dock your full attendance bonus, and I won't approve it at the end of the month. Go ahead and complain to President Su if you want. In the company, the full attendance bonus is 2,000 yuan, which is no small sum. Wang Hai figured Jiang Chen would immediately return to his desk and start working, given the stakes, but instead, Jiang Chen merely glanced at him, muttered a quick idiot under his breath, and left. Asterisk, to hell with overtime. Go ahead and dock my pay. Let's see if Su Zining, who's my wife, will let you get away with it. Don't think too highly of yourself. Asterisk. As Jiang Chen's figure disappeared from the office, Wang Hai was left awkwardly standing there. What are you all looking at? Get back to work unless you want your full attendance bonus cut too. Wang Hai snapped, feeling embarrassed by the eyes on him. Jiang Chen had talent and guts, so he couldn't intimidate him. But surely, he could still scare the others into working overtime. Meanwhile, at Jiang Chen's apartment complex, Huajian Court, he patted his full stomach contentedly. Ah, that hit the spot. Still the same great taste. The beef noodles from the shop downstairs were his favorite, cheap and filling. System, let's start the lucky draw, Jiang Chen said, eager to see what he could get. He wanted to go home not only for lunch but also to test out the lottery feature of his system. Upon the system's full activation, he received 1,000 bond points. Most of the items in the system store started at a cost of 10,000 bond points, but a single lucky draw only required 1,000 points. Come on, give me a house. A big mansion. Jiang Chen silently wished. Ding. 1,000 bond points consumed. Drawing reward for the host now. Congratulations, host. You have obtained Graph Centennial Limited Edition Necklace X1. A necklace? And it's a women's necklace at that. What am I supposed to do with this? Jiang Chen was baffled. I don't even have a girlfriend. Suddenly, it dawned on him. Wait a second, how did the system even activate if I don't have a girlfriend? Oh right, Zining. Damn, the system's nudging me to give a gift. Well, it's about time I got Zining something nice anyway. This necklace will do, Jiang Chen mused. Around 1 p.m., Jiang Chen arrived at Tianhe Plaza. The system offered a convenient delivery service, but since the Graph store was right on his way to work, he decided to pick it up himself. Tianhe Plaza, the largest shopping mall in Jinghai City, was bustling as always. No, sorry, you're too flat, a cup. Sorry, your makeup's too thick. Girl, your body odor is too strong. By the time he reached the 4th floor, Jiang Chen had already brushed off countless girls trying to get his contact info. He was beginning to regret leaving home without a mask to hide his face of the century. Graph should be right here. Jiang Chen entered the Graph store, where the dazzling display of jewelry momentarily overwhelmed him. He knew a bit about this brand, Graph, known as the epitome of luxury. Hello, sir, did you have a pre-existing order? The sales associate asked politely. Jiang Chen, he replied. Despite her professional training not to judge by appearances, the sales associate couldn't help but freeze for a second upon seeing Jiang Chen's face. So handsome, in that name. Wait, isn't this the VIP who ordered the limited edition piece? Sir, you ordered our Graph Centennial Limited Edition necklace. I can't believe you came to pick it up in person. That's our mistake. Please wait a moment while I get it gift wrapped for you. The sales associate's hands trembled slightly. Not only was he stunningly good-looking, but he was also wealthy. After all, that necklace was priced at a staggering 288 million yuan. Jiang Chen simply nodded. No rush, he said, realizing he'd arrived a bit early. Rubbing his temples, he settled on a sofa in the waiting area. A middle-aged man suddenly sat across from him. Young man, my name is Tianhe, the man said. I have a proposal to discuss with you. Jiang Chen sized him up. With his well-tailored suit, the man appeared to be a business type. What could he possibly want from me? Mr. Jiang, the gift wrapping will take a few minutes, the sales associate chimed in, serving tea. Feel free to relax, Mr. Su. Jiang Chen was taken aback. Tianhe, that name sounds familiar. Where have I heard it before? What's this about, Mr. Su? Jiang Chen asked. Tianhe hesitated, clearly a bit embarrassed. I'd like to buy that Graph necklace from you. I'll add 100,000 yuan on top of its price. 3 million, what do you think? Jiang Chen was stunned. He hadn't even realized the value of this necklace. If it's worth 3 million with an extra 100,000, that means its original price is 9 million? Damn, a necklace I randomly drew is actually worth this much? And I could cash in on it right now. The offer was tempting, leaving Jiang Chen in a dilemma. Chapter 7, A Gift. Firmly chosen. But then he thought, if he sold the necklace to Tianhe, what would he give Zining as a gift? Considering Zining's status, this limited edition Graph necklace was just right. Even though this wife suddenly appeared out of nowhere, she still deserved to be pampered. His woman must be treated with prestige. Besides, if he sold the necklace to Tianhe, he'd have to go through the hassle of finding another gift. Not wanting the extra trouble, Jiang Chen decided to turn down Tianhe. Sorry, Mr. Su, but actually, this necklace is something I'm picking up for a friend. He's in a rush to give it to his girlfriend, so I can't sell it. If it were mine, I'd definitely let you have it. Jiang Chen was careful. You can never fully trust people based on appearances. Su Tianhe looked influential, and if he got curious and investigated Jiang Chen, it would be suspicious for an ordinary employee of Liger Group to possess a 3 million yuan necklace. Better to be cautious than sorry. Oh, I see. In that case, I won't insist, Su Tianhe said, a hint of disappointment in his eyes as he nodded. Lately, he had been itching to do something after seeing his friend's children finding partners while his daughter was still single, always buried in her work like an ice queen. He had planned to use this necklace as a gift to discuss relationships with her. But now, it seemed like his plan had fallen through. My apologies, Mr. Su, Jiang Chen said with a polite smile. Su Tianhe waved it off, then pulled out a business card. Here, take this, young man. Next time you're at Tianhe Plaza, show this card for a discount. Also, bring your friend along sometime, we should get to know each other. Despite his modest demeanor, Su Tianhe's business aura was intimidating to most people. But Jiang Chen showed no fear, only confidence and indication of ability. And if Jiang Chen had a friend who could casually spend 3 million on a necklace, he was worth befriending. Jiang Chen accepted the card without hesitation, and at that moment, the store assistant returned with the elegantly wrapped necklace. Thank you, Mr. Su. I'll take my leave now. Su Tianhe responded with a brief As Jiang Chen left Tianhe Plaza, he exhaled deeply. No wonder Su Tianhe's name sounded familiar, it's his plaza. He's the chairman. This system is no joke, it snatched a limited edition necklace right from the owner's turf. Arriving back at Liger Group, Jiang Chen clocked in and then headed straight to the top floor. In the CEO's office. President Su, it seems Jiang Chen is here. Do you need any documents prepared for your meeting with him? Asked Jiang Zining. Su Zining's heart skipped a beat. Jiang Chen was here. Just hearing his name made her blush as memories of his handsome face and sweet words flooded her mind. Calm down, Su Zining. You're the one who chose him, you can't afford to act shy now. Where's your usual composure? No, we don't need any documents for this, she replied. No documents? Su Zining's heart raced. Did she say the wrong thing? Jiang Chen's visit doesn't require documents, doesn't that suggest they're not talking business? What else would they talk about? Romance? Will Secretary Zhang suspect something? Panicking, she quickly added, actually, we do need some documents, but I'll find them myself later. Just let Jiang Chen in directly, and leave the door open, it's less troublesome that way. Secretary Zhang was baffled. What's gotten into President Su? It's unusual for her to say so much at once. Usually, even when they interact the most, President Su's replies are limited to or okay. Still, knowing when not to ask questions, Jiang Zining obediently left and, just as she stepped outside, spotted Jiang Chen approaching. Jiang Chen, be careful, President Su was acting a bit strange, she warned. Jiang Chen raised an eyebrow. Strange? Could it be that his wife knew he was coming? What else could make Su Zining act unusual? Don't worry, it's fine, he replied simply before walking into the office. He went straight up to Su Zining, instantly catching a whiff of her familiar, pleasant fragrance. Wifey, it's been half a day, and I've missed you dearly, Jiang Chen said with a cheeky smile, gazing at her delicate side profile. He couldn't help but admire her crescent-shaped eyebrows, truly beautiful. Did you have enough to eat at lunch? Su Zining asked as she looked up, locking eyes with Jiang Chen. In an instant, she was captivated by his handsome face again. Feeling flustered, her thoughts began to race. Jiang Chen's hair is a bit messy, should I fix it for him? But isn't that too intimate? Wait, I'm his girlfriend. With her soft, pink hand clenched into a tiny fist, Su Zining shyly reached out with her left hand to smooth Jiang Chen's hair before quickly withdrawing, like a startled little bunny. How sweet. Of course, I ate well. Wifey, let me tell you, the beef noodles at the shop near my place are amazing. When we get a break, I'll take you there. The chef's from the western region, so the flavors are spot on. Su Zining was momentarily stunned. She had never tried beef noodles from a small shop. Was it anything like the fancy beef dishes served in high-end hotels? She didn't know, but as long as Jiang Chen was happy, that's what mattered. She nodded softly, though she wanted to tell him she didn't really have days off. Her workload was overwhelming, and she was usually needed at the company. But then she recalled what Jiang Chen had told her the night before and decided against saying it. Here, I got you a gift, Jiang Chen said, placing the graph bag on the desk. I thought it suited you, so I bought it. Su Zining was taken aback. She had noticed the bag earlier but hadn't thought much of it. But it turned out to be a gift from Jiang Chen? A Graf gift? A necklace, she asked. While Liger Group mainly focused on women's luxury cosmetics, Zining was still familiar with Graf, renowned for its unparalleled luxury. As she held the necklace in her hands, she was left speechless. The radiant sparkle and the dazzling diamonds adorning it, it was stunning. Along with that beauty came an overwhelming sense of being cherished. For Jiang Chen to buy this necklace, he must really care for her. Jiang Chen, could you help me put it on? She whispered, her voice so soft it was drowned out by Jiang Chen's suddenly ringing phone. He didn't hear her. What? Damn, he's causing trouble again? Mandatory overtime now, is it? I'll be right there. Jiang Chen snapped into the phone. Chapter 8, Promotion? Su Xianyo is angry. Mr. Su, I have something to take care of, so I'll leave now, Jiang Chen said as he hung up the phone. Su Zining swallowed her words and nodded. All right, go quickly and don't delay. Without saying another word, Jiang Chen left Su Zining's office. The moment he stepped out, a cold notification echoed in his mind. Ding, detected that the host has gifted a Graf necklace to loved one Su Zining. Congratulations, you have earned 1,000 bond points. Bond value +1. Triggering hidden mission, help your loved one put on the necklace. Just then, Xiao Lang had called to say that Wang Hai had started causing trouble since he saw Jiang Chen was not at his desk. Wang Hai was threatening to fire Jiang Chen. The 1,000 bond points from gifting the necklace was a reward Jiang Chen couldn't afford to miss. Helping Su Zining put on the necklace would likely earn another 1,000 bond points at that moment. Jiang Chen was cursing Wang Hai to high heaven. Returning to the office to help Su Xianyo with the necklace? Forget it, he needed to deal with Wang Hai first. After all, Su Xianyo was still there, she wouldn't run away. Jiang Chen sighed in frustration. He had to deal with Wang Hai now, despite his earlier plans. He couldn't wait to slap Wang Hai with the work he hastily put together this morning. Meanwhile, in the office, Su Zining's expression was icy. Though she tried to hide it in front of Jiang Chen, she was fuming now that Jiang Chen had been abruptly called away, presumably for work-related issues. She was very displeased and extremely angry. She had been looking forward to Jiang Chen personally putting the necklace on her. It was frustrating to have it disrupted. Secretary Zhang, come in, Su Zining's cold voice called out. A few seconds later, Zhang Xiying walked in. Investigate the R&D department, Su Zining instructed. See if there's any mandatory overtime happening. I need the details within half an hour. Zhang Xiying was startled and shivered slightly. This was the Su Zining she knew. Her usual demeanor was replaced with an intense, commanding presence. The R&D department? Zhang Xiying hesitated. Su Zone, I'm aware of the situation. Go ahead, Su Zining said, raising an eyebrow. Zhang Xiying quickly responded, Wang Hai has forced the employees to work overtime this noon. He demanded the design proposal for the SK water by tonight. Jiang Chen and Lang Yuyao didn't work overtime, and now Wang Hai is throwing a tantrum. Zhang Xiying wanted to protect Jiang Chen and Lang Yuyao, especially since mandatory overtime was common in large companies like Liger Group. However, she was concerned that Su Zining might take it out on them. She wondered how Su Zining found out. If Su Zining didn't know, and if Lang Yuyao and Jiang Chen had been more compliant, Wang Hai might have been more lenient, but now, there was no hiding it. Throwing a tantrum? Su Zining's eyes grew even colder. Go to the R&D department now and have Wang Hai come see me. Zhang Xiying was taken aback but quickly complied, leaving in a hurry. At the R&D department. Wang Hai, here are Chen Ji's proposals. What more do you have to say? Xiao Lang said defiantly. It looks like you were just looking for trouble. Regretting it now? Xiao Lang was quite confident, feeling secure in his position. What's the big deal? You're just a department head. My girlfriend is the CEO's private secretary. Why should we fear you? If Jiang Chen knew what Xiao Lang was thinking, he would probably spit out blood in frustration. This proposal has no highlights at all. Wang Hai roared. Write another one. If you can't finish it, no overtime. If I catch you being late or leaving early again, you're out of a job. Wang Hai hadn't even looked at Jiang Chen's proposal, dismissing it outright. He thought a 5-minute enhancement couldn't possibly be good. Jiang Chen shot a scornful glance at Wang Hai. This guy was ridiculously overconfident. Jiang Chen was about to argue with Wang Hai when Secretary Zhang rushed in. Minister Wang, Mr. Su wants to see you. Wang Hai's eyes lit up. What? Mr. Su wants to see me? He thought, since I'm diligently reviewing the design proposals, Mr. Su must want to promote and reward me. Okay, I'll be right there. Wang Hai said, taking the completed design proposals with him but deliberately leaving Jiang Chen's behind. Before leaving, he shot Jiang Chen a menacing look. I'll deal with you when I return. Jiang Chen shrugged in resignation. Fine, deal with my wife first, and then come back to deal with me. Chen good, did you tell your cousin about this? Xiao Lang asked awkwardly. Jiang Chen was confused. Cousin? Did Xiao Lang think Su Zining had introduced him as her cousin? The IQ of this guy. He opened a drawer and took out a pack of walnut kernels. Here, eat these. They're good for the brain. At that moment, Wang Hai stood in the CEO's office, taking a long breath. He felt both anxious and excited. Making employees work overtime without pay was a testament to his abilities. He wondered, what position might Mr. Su promote me to? Project Director? Department Deputy Manager? That would come with a significant salary increase. Feeling a tingle of anticipation, he knocked on the door. Mr. Su, it's me, Wang Hai. Come in. Wang Hai tiptoed into the office. Su Zining gave him a brief glance. Wang Hai gulped and trembled. Mr. Su, here are the 3 completed design proposals. Please review them. Su Zining finally looked up, her gaze fixed intently on Wang Hai. Oh? So soon? Wang Hai was stunned. Mr. Su is surprised. This is his chance to shine. Mr. Su, didn't you confirm the preliminary contract for the SK Divine Water this morning? I immediately notified the team, and they've been working tirelessly. This is the fast-tracked work. I'll submit the remaining proposals by the end of today. Wang Hai was hoping for recognition. After all, this new SK Divine Water project was crucial. Ah, so it's mandatory overtime. Give me a reason for forcing employees to work overtime. Su Zining cut straight to the point, showing no interest in small talk. Wang Hai grinned, Mr. Su, I remember you said that working in overtime can help employees develop their skills. It's a good thing. Su Zining played with her pen and raised an eyebrow. Are you sure I said that? At this moment, Wang Hai felt a chill. Su Zining's expression was not one of praise or promotion but of displeasure. Wang Hai was confused. Capitalists usually liked subordinates who enforced mandatory overtime. In fact, mandatory overtime was common in companies, and even though Liger Group's benefits were top-notch, Su Zining had generally turned a blind eye to such practices. But forcing overtime on Jiang Chen and then disrupting his plans? Su Zining was about to receive a necklace from Jiang Chen, but Wang Hai interrupted that moment. The more Su Zining thought about it, the angrier she became. I recall saying that as a senior executive, one should not arbitrarily impose overtime on employees. Providing employees with more time and space for their growth and progress, don't you remember that, Minister Wang? Chapter 9, Punishment. Department member snitches, ***. Did I say that? Wang Hai was on the verge of tears. He was damn sure he never said that. Previously, Mr. Su had always said that overtime was beneficial for employee development. If he had to spiral into oblivion, he would accept it, but Su Zining was the president. If she said something wasn't said, then it wasn't said. Wang Hai couldn't even dare to utter a peep. Mr. Su, of course, I remember, Wang Hai stammered. Su Zining slammed her hand on the desk, creating a sharp sound and staring coldly at Wang Hai. You remember that you also forced employees to work overtime? You really like overtime, don't you? Write a 3,000-word self-criticism and your year-end bonus is cancelled. Also, for the next few days, I want to see you working overtime every day. Lead by example. Got it? Wang Hai was sweating beads of sweat from his forehead and responded awkwardly, Understood, Mr. Su. I'll reflect on my mistakes when I get back. Su Zining sighed deeply and waved him off. By the way, about the design proposals. I want quality, not quantity. In 5 days, I expect the highest quality proposals from the R&D department. Now, go. Wan Hai, feeling as if he had narrowly escaped a death sentence, rushed out of the president's office, gasping for air. He had almost lost his position as a department head while dreaming of a promotion, and Raise the Scene reminded him of an ancient saying: if you want to add a crime, you can always find a pretext. What went wrong that made Mr. Su treat me like this? Wang Hai was puzzled. In the R&D department, Jiang Chen was leisurely goofing off while the others continued working on or improving the design proposals. Let me reiterate something about the design proposals, Jiang Chen said. We don't need to be so rushed. It's okay if we don't submit it today. What we need is quality. Starting today, I'll be working overtime in the company every day. Let's strive to come up with the best proposal together. With that, Wang Hai returned to his office, defeated. The R&D department staff were stunned. Damn, Wang Hai has changed his tune? Good grief, how can you get quality in just one day? He's finally come to his senses. It's not easy. Jiang Chen smirked slightly. It seemed like Su Xianyo had dealt with him thinking about Wang Hai's dark expression. Jiang Chen couldn't help but think, deserved it. As for Wang Hai's punishment, Jiang Chen wasn't interested in knowing. He trusted that Su Zining would handle it appropriately. He picked up his phone and opened Penguin. Jiang Chen, I'll be waiting in the office after work. I have something to discuss. Su Zining replied almost instantly. Maybe it was because Su Zining had set him as a priority contact. Su Zining, okay, got it. Jiang Chen put down his phone and grinned. He planned to help Su Xianyo put on the necklace after work. With another 1,000 bond points, he would be able to draw 2 more prizes when he got home. Maybe he could even get a villa. The door to the R&D department head's office was pushed open. Xiao Yuan, what's up? Wang Hai asked nonchalantly upon seeing the visitor. Minister Wang, I wanted to discuss some personal matters with you today. Wang Hai's heart skipped a beat. Damn, this guy isn't planning to give me a gift, is he? Normally, Wang Hai would welcome it, but now he was worried that Su Zining might be secretly keeping an eye on him. Well, during work hours, let's stick to work-related topics, Wang Hai said. Xiao Yuan, undeterred, sat down in the chair opposite Wang Hai. Minister Wang, if I'm not mistaken, you were just reprimanded by Mr. Su, right? With a loud thud, Wang Hai slapped the desk. Xiao Yuan, don't talk nonsense. What could I possibly have been reprimanded for by Mr. Su? I, Wang Hai, act with integrity and dedication to the company. Be careful or I'll dock your full attendance bonus. Xiao Yuan smiled obsequiously. Minister Wang, of course, I know you act with integrity and dedication. But the fact is, you were indeed reprimanded, right? You must be puzzled about the reason. By chance, I know. Wang Hai was taken aback, setting aside his documents. He smiled, stood up, and offered Xiao Yuan a cigarette. Have one, Xiao Yuan. Actually, from the first day you joined the company, I could see you were capable. You have a good chance of taking over my position as department head. Xiao Yuan waved his hand, indicating he didn't smoke. He turned and poured tea for himself and Wang Hai. Minister Wang, I'll be direct with you. Jiang Chen has a connection with Mr. Su. Wang Hai squinted. Jiang Chen and Mr. Su? What do you mean? Xiao Yuan sighed with a look of helplessness. I'm puzzled too. If I hadn't heard Jiang Chen and Lang Yuyao talking about it myself, I wouldn't believe it. Remember this morning when Mr. Su called Jiang Chen to the office? It turns out Mr. Su introduced his cousin to Jiang Chen. Xiao Lang and Jiang Chen were chatting about Mr. Su, and they mentioned his cousin. Moreover, Jiang Chen is currently goofing off openly, which indicates he's relying on his status as Mr. Su's cousin. Wang Hai was stunned. Damn, so there's such a thing? Xiao Yuan's desk was indeed close to Jiang Chen's, so he could hear whispers coupled with Wang Hai's recent misfortune. It made him believe Xiao Yuan's words. No wonder Mr. Su was so unusual today, it turned out to be like this. Damn it, bad-mouthing Mr. Su's cousin in front of him. It's like flooding the Dragon King's temple. Xiao Yuan, you're truly my thoughtful subordinate, Wang Hai said generously after understanding the situation, patting Xiao Yuan on the shoulder. If Jiang Chen had heard this conversation, he would definitely pull out another 2 packs of walnuts and give each of them a pack to boost their brains. At 6 o'clock, the end of the workday at Liger Group. Jiang Chen stood up, stretched, and thought, gotta quickly earn those bond points. Forget about earning bond points, he needed to help his wife put on the necklace. On the 27th floor, Jiang Chen exited the elevator and saw Wang Hai just coming out of the president's office. Hey, Minister Wang. I heard you'll be working overtime. Must be tough. Jiang Chen's lips curled into a smirk. Damn, Wang Hai, I finally caught you. I'll make sure you regret it. Chapter 10, Punch Card. Daily Hug, ***. When Wang Hai heard the familiar tone, he looked up and saw Jiang Chen. Oh my goodness, isn't that Jiang Chen? On Jiang Chen's face, Wang Hai saw 6 glaring characters, Su Zining's cousin-in-law. Ah, Mr. Jiang, what are you saying? I'm just leading by example for the company, Wang Hai said with a sycophantic smile, fully displaying his opportunistic nature. Jiang Chen was confused. He thought, even if Wang Hai wasn't reprimanding him, he would still have a grim face. What's with the full face of ingratiation? According to what Su Xianyo had said, Wang Hai shouldn't have directly told him about their relationship. How shy Su Xianyo was, he knew that. So what's going on with Wang Hai? Maybe he should also get some walnuts to boost his brain? Forget it, too expensive, wasteful. Well then, Minister Wang, good luck. Jiang Chen didn't want to dwell on what was going on with Wang Hai and walked straight into Su Zining's office. Wang Hai was stunned. As expected of Mr. Su's cousin-in-law, he didn't even need to knock to enter the office. Jiang Chen was unrestrained, having been here for the 3rd time today. He went straight up to Su Zining's side and grinned. Darling, where's the necklace? Jiang Chen was in a hurry, eager to put the necklace on Su Zining himself before heading home for the lottery draws. Su Zining was taken aback, then opened the cabinet and took out the limited edition graph necklace. It's here. Jiang Chen's lips curled into a smile as he took the necklace and unwrapped it. I wanted to put it on you at noon, but it got interrupted. Perfect timing to make up for that now. Jiang Chen's gaze was so pure that Su Zining was momentarily flustered. So, Jiang Chen came to see me just to put on the necklace? Su Zining had specially re-wrapped the necklace at noon to find an opportunity for Jiang Chen to put it on her himself. Now Jiang Chen had even taken the initiative to mention it, remembering such a small detail. How could Su Zining not be happy? She bit her lip gently and said softly, okay, turn around. This necklace is a bit complicated. Jiang Chen muttered as he placed his hands on Su Zining's shoulders. Su Zining's entire body shivered. This was the first time a man had touched her shoulders. It felt a bit awkward, but more of a novel sensation. Her heart raced. All done, this necklace seems custom-made for you. Jiang Chen raised his eyebrows and smiled. He had to admit. With this dazzling necklace accentuating Su Zining's fair neck, she looked even more elegant and poised. That collarbone could probably hold 2 sharks. Thank you. Su Zining actually wanted to say thank you, boyfriend. But it felt a bit awkward. Saying thank you, husband? Just thinking about it made her blush and her heart race. She struggled internally and ended up with, thank you. She glanced at Jiang Chen's profile, and the little woman inside her stirred. How could this guy say darling so smoothly? So embarrassing. Alright, I'm leaving now. See you tomorrow, darling. Jiang Chen said nothing more and planned to leave immediately. At this moment, his mind was focused on just one thought, 2 words. Lottery. Su Zining was stunned. Jiang Chen was leaving? Hey! How can you just leave after putting on the necklace for your girlfriend? Even in Korean dramas, it doesn't go like this. Jiang Chen, are you in a hurry to go home for something? Su Zining asked, her face slightly flushed. Jiang Chen was almost out the door when Su Zining's question stopped him. You're right, darling. Damn, of course, there's something, lottery draws. Jiang Chen glanced back and saw Su Zining's shy expression. She looked like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Any man wouldn't be indifferent? Especially Su Zining, who usually was so aloof. Jiang Chen asked himself. Is there something? There was, but it didn't seem like a big deal. Bond points wouldn't grow legs and run away. Ahem, darling, do you need something? Jiang Chen raised an eyebrow and took a deep breath. Su Zining's expression was simply too irresistible. He couldn't handle it. Su Xianyo, do you want me to do something for you? It's just a small thing. It won't take much of your time. Su Zining said as she stood up. Her height of 170 centimeters combined with high heels matched Jiang Chen perfectly. She slowly opened her arms and hugged Jiang Chen. This hug. Consider it a small token of gratitude. Su Zining had pondered this for a long time. No kisses, as she and Jiang Chen had only known each other for a day. And definitely no intimate stuff. So, a hug was the only thing left. Feeling the faint body fragrance from Jiang Chen, Su Zining experienced a rare sense of security. After a few seconds, she withdrew her arms. Alright, you can go home now. My little boyfriend. Jiang Chen scratched his head and sighed deeply. He was screaming internally. Damn, my first hug is gone. This is outrageous. Couldn't you at least say something? Isn't this a bit unfair? Su Zining, you're a high-profile, billion-dollar ice queen. Is this appropriate in broad daylight? Darling, what were you holding back for so long? So, you were trying to take advantage of me. Su Zining was startled. Pa! Take advantage of you? At most, it's mutual advantage. Su Zining's voice trailed off. Humph. Didn't you feel uncomfortable just from my hug? Alright, I'm leaving. Jiang Chen reflected on the hug, which had been too brief to register, but the feeling was really great. Let me know when you get home. Jiang Chen left the office, still feeling reflective. On the first day of their relationship, Su Xianyo, the ice queen, proactively offered a hug. It must be the charm of this guy. Ding, completed side quest, put the necklace on your lover yourself. Bond points plus 1,000. Successfully clocked in for evening hug. Bond points plus 1,000. Jiang Chen frowned slightly, wondering what the evening hug clock-in was about. Had the system developed a new feature? Damn, better hurry home and investigate. Yanjue Lake was one of the most famous villa areas in Jinghai City. A tranquil environment, shimmering lake surface, and rows of greenery. Su Zining opened the door of Villa No. 4. Today, she wasn't in the mood to handle documents. All she could think about was Jiang Chen's gentle embrace. Oh, I thought a thief had come home. It turns out my princess has returned. A rare guest, finally willing to put work aside and visit your old dad and mom? A middle-aged man jogged into the living room, laughing. If Jiang Chen were present, he would instantly recognize this man. Su Tianhe. Today there wasn't much going on. Just finalized the cooperation with Tianlei Group. So, I came back early. Su Zining responded coldly to Su Tianhe's enthusiastic welcome. Good. I brought you a small gift today. Come and see. Su Tianhe was used to his daughter's cold demeanor and lack of emotional expression. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so anxious about Su Zining's lifelong matters. Su Zining was surprised and followed Su Tianhe to the study. Here, Ningning, open it and take a look. Su Zining took the small box Su Tianhe handed over. When she opened it, good grief! Another graph necklace? What's going on today? Why did both Dad and Jiang Chen buy graph necklaces? Chapter 11, Friends? Boyfriend, okay, asterisk. Lingling, your neck looks so bare without any jewelry, Su Tianhe said, looking at his daughter. Where did you get that necklace? Su Tianhe was momentarily stunned, noticing the bright necklace around Su Zining's neck. What's going on here? Because Jiang Chen hadn't agreed to pass on the limited edition necklace, Su Tianhe bought the most expensive one in the store at that time. He wanted to give it to his daughter and discuss with her about finding a boyfriend. But now, Su Zining was already wearing a necklace? She didn't have it when she left this morning, did she? It was a gift from a friend. It's also graph, Su Zining replied casually. Boyfriend can be considered a friend, right? No problem. Su Zining was mainly worried about Jiang Chen. If she told Su Tianhe about her relationship now, with a company employee no less, she feared her father might not accept it and might investigate Jiang Chen. That wouldn't be good for Jiang Chen. Oh? It looks even better than the one I bought, Su Tianhe said, turning to examine the necklace Su Zining was wearing. It looked so familiar. The quality, the diamonds, the shape, it was almost identical to the limited edition one Jiang Chen took. No, it was exactly the same. Alright, wash your hands and get ready for dinner, Su Tianhe said, handing over the necklace. You can keep this one and switch between them. Su Zining shook her head. I prefer to wear the one I have now. You can give this one to Mom. With that, she left the study. Su Tianhe took a deep breath and quickly pulled out his phone to check the graph catalog. He compared the photos and confirmed that the two necklaces were indeed identical. So, my daughter must be dating? Su Tianhe thought, piecing everything together. Jiang Chen had helped his friend buy the graph limited edition necklace, which was supposedly for his girlfriend now. Su Zining was wearing that very necklace. Given that there were only 10 of these worldwide, how many could be in Jinghai City? Certainly not a second one. The answer was clear. Damn, my daughter is really in a relationship. Su Tianhe swallowed hard and quickly ran to the kitchen. Honey, come here. I have something important to tell you. Li Mei cast a reproachful glance at Su Tianhe. Oh, another important matter? We're just eating. Nevertheless, she followed him, and they sat on the sofa. I'll call Zining over so she can give you some advice. Su Tianhe was startled and quickly grabbed Li Mei's arm. He glanced nervously at Su Zining's closed room door and sighed in relief. It's not a business matter. And it's something I can't discuss in front of Zining. Li Mei looked puzzled and glared at Su Tianhe. What's this about? I make 40 a year, and I'm quite zen about things now. Nothing really upsets me. Su Tianhe swallowed nervously. It seems Zining might be in a relationship. Li Mei jumped up, her face filled with disbelief. She clutched Su Tianhe's arm, her tone anxious. Tell me, what's going on? So, Su Tianhe recounted meeting Jiang Chen and seeing the necklace earlier that day. Li Mei shook her head. Old Su, I'd rather believe there's a second limited edition necklace in Jinghai City than believe any man can win over our Zining. This doesn't seem very plausible. Su Tianhe considered this and agreed. It was indeed surprising that Zining, with her personality, would suddenly start dating. But the coincidence was too perfect. Maybe I should subtly probe during dinner, Li Mei suggested awkwardly. Su Tianhe's eyes lit up. Great. In the Huajin Garden community, Jiang Chen spent half an hour figuring out what the evening hug was all about. The relationship points were used for lottery draws and redeeming items, while the bond points unlocked more functions. For example, when the system awakened, Jiang Chen and Su Zining had 59 bond points. After giving the necklace, he earned one more, bringing it to 60, which unlocked various features for 60 bond points. The evening hug feature and the morning and evening hugs with a partner could earn bond points as rewards, increasing with more bond points. There were also early morning and evening check-ins and daily care check-ins. Damn, isn't this pushing me to seriously date? Jiang Chen sighed deeply. He remembered he still had 2,000 bond points left. Draw. Ding, the host is drawing. Congratulations, the host has won 100,000 RMB. Congratulations, the host has acquired top piano mastery. Jiang Chen's face darkened. What use is this piano mastery? As a designer, it would make more sense to get top design mastery. Piano mastery is useless. He took out his phone, opened WeChat, and found Su Zining. Jiang Chen, have you eaten yet? The system immediately prompted him. Ding, the host has checked in for evening care once, bond points plus 500. Jiang Chen chuckled. Just one message earned him 500 points. 3 times a day, that's 1,500 points. Adding hugs in the morning, noon, and night, that's 4,500 points. Just complete another task, and he'd reach 10,000 points in 2 days. If the lottery doesn't work out, a new villa wouldn't be too bad. At Yanzhu Lake. Su Tianhe sat at the dining table, giving Li Mei a desperate look. Come on, ask already, I'm waiting for the result. Li Mei rolled her eyes. We're just eating. No need to rush. Patience is key. Lingling, have some chicken legs, crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, Li Mei said gently. Su Zining nodded and suddenly her phone vibrated with a unique sound. Su Tianhe and Li Mei exchanged glances. What's happening? Su Zining picked up her phone. The sound was a special notification she set for Jiang Chen, so she knew it was from him. Seeing the message made her smile and feel a warm, sweet sensation. This unexpected care was truly captivating. She blushed as she recalled the embrace with Jiang Chen earlier, the reassuring feeling of his arms. She quickly replied and glanced up to meet Su Tianhe and Li Mei's scrutinizing gazes.
Su Zining? She quickly explained, a friend asked me something. It's nothing serious. I'll deal with it at work tomorrow. Let's continue eating.
With that, Su Zining placed her phone down on the table and pretended nothing had happened, picking up a chicken leg.
Mom, this chicken leg is really good. Su Tianhe and Li Mei were both stunned. Did their daughter just smile? And blush?
This was the first time Su Zining had responded to someone's message during a meal.
And she even explained herself? Su Tianhe thought to himself, his daughter, Su Zining, had always been very independent. When had she ever explained herself to anyone? Not even to him and Li Mei. All these anomalies could only mean one thing. Su Tianhe and Li Mei exchanged looks, seeing mutual relief. Their daughter was indeed dating. Chapter 12, Dowry?
I could even call him brother, ****. In the Huajian garden community, Jiang Chen glanced at the message from Su Zining and smiled slightly.
Eating with my parents. I'll chat with you later. Parents?
Jiang Chen had always felt that Su Zining's father was quite mysterious. After all, the Leish Group, which Su Zining's father had founded and handed over to her, had reached its current scale thanks to both Su Zining's extraordinary business talent and her father's significant initial investment. The most absurd part was that the original chairman of Leish Group had never appeared at the company. Even now, due to transferring all shares to Su Zining, no one even knew what her father was called. A mysterious father-in-law is a bit of a headache, Jiang Chen sighed deeply. On the other hand, Jiang Chen thought about his own mother. If Su Zining's mother had to deal with her, it would also be troublesome.
Jiang Chen, I'm going to play some games. By the way, here's the design plan I worked on. Today, Wang Hai didn't submit it, so if you have time, take a look. He sent Su Zining the design plan he had worked on that morning and then opened League of Legends. Time to enjoy a couple of games. In the Yanzhou Lake Villa area, after dinner, Su Zining went straight to her bedroom and saw Jiang Chen's reply. She glanced at WeChat's online status. He was in a game. I'll wait for him to finish. After all, guys don't like being interrupted when they're playing games. So, Su Zining opened the design plan. Jiang Chen sent her the product theme name alone, just 6 words, made her heart skip a beat. Encountering that love. Meanwhile, in their room, Su Tianhe and Li Mei were grinning at each other, feeling an indescribable sense of satisfaction. Old Su, it's so obvious that Zining is into this guy, Li Mei said. But I don't know much about the guy. We need to check him out. Su Tianhe stroked his stubble and sighed. I think anyone who can afford a $3 million necklace must be a rich kid. Dear, as the old saying goes, one who stays close to vermilion becomes red, and one who stays close to ink becomes black. That Jiang Chen is the guy who helped get the necklace. I think he's pretty good, his manners and demeanor are quite nice. Considering he's Jiang Chen's friend, Zining's boyfriend should be decent too. Li Mei nodded, agreeing with this reasoning. But she still felt something was off, a kind of indescribable feeling. Old Su, how about you visit Leish tomorrow? He might be a partner of Zining's, although we don't care about his family background. I think we should understand more. Su Tianhe made a face and stood up, glaring at Li Mei. This is typical of women's views. It is true that a girl's parents should look out for her when she finds a partner, but does Su Zining need that? Dear, trust me, no need for checks. I don't need the guy to have any specific conditions. We have cars, houses, and money. I just hope he's a man who can give me a grandchild. Su Tianhe felt a pang of longing. Hearing about Boss Shang's granddaughter and General Manager Li's new grandson made him feel left out. Now, he was even worried about whether Su Zining would find someone. Our Zining isn't desperate to marry. Your expectations are too low. Li Mei frowned. Su Tianhe grumbled. Our Zining is indeed beautiful, but which man wants to face an ice block every day? Zining's stubborn and self-reliant personality aside, it's tough for her. I've long decided, if someone wants our Zining, I'd even give him a dowry. At this point, Su Tianhe felt he hadn't gone far enough. He added with a touch of sarcasm, I'd even call him brother. Li Mei's face went dark. At 10 o'clock, Jiang Chen shut down his computer and lay on his bed. Jiang Chen, honey, I'm done. Su Zining had asked him to let her know after finishing his game, and just then, Jiang Chen had completed his evening check-in. The next second, Jiang Chen was taken aback. Su Zining's reply was immediate, but that wasn't the main point. The long message was clearly pre-written. Regarding the content, I looked at the design plan. Firstly. Secondly, regarding the concept and main background story. Really excellent, Jiang Chen. You must have put a lot of thought into this plan, right? Jiang Chen almost spat blood at the ceiling. Who discusses work late at night? He knew the plan was flawless. Did he really need to be reminded of his foresight that surpassed 10 years? Dear, let's not talk about work so late. Let's discuss something else. Su Zining, something else? Yes, let's talk about love, not just say it. Su Zining, How should we talk? Jiang Chen smiled slightly and quickly typed out a line. Today, why did you suddenly want to hug me? Su Zining saw Jiang Chen's message and blushed. This silly man. I already gave the answer. Why does he need a reason to want a hug? Of course, it's because he wants to hug. With a sly smile, she playfully replied. Not telling you. Jiang Chen grinned. He was waiting for that response. Alright, if you won't tell me, then forget it. It's getting late. I went to bed too late last night. Your boyfriend needs to sleep. Good night, dear. He was exhausted. Check-in completed. It wasn't that Jiang Chen didn't want to chat with Su Zining after a night of drinking and expressing his feelings. He was tired. Plus, he realized that teasing Su Zining through the screen wasn't as fun as doing it in person. On the other side of the screen, Su Zining was blushing and fuming. Not telling him? Jiang Chen. You're being unreasonable. Chapter 13, Honey. You're holding the pen the wrong way, ***. Su Zining pouted, her little fist tightly clenched as she pounded on her teddy bear. She looked like a little girl throwing a tantrum for not getting her favorite toy. Didn't we agree to talk about love? Why did he run away? Jiang Chen, I don't even want to play with you anymore. The next morning, Su Zining woke up groggily and saw a message from Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen, good morning, my dear. She couldn't help but blush and replied, good morning. Instantly, her little tantrum from last night evaporated, replaced by the happiness of Jiang Chen reaching out to her first thing in the morning after washing up, doing her makeup, eating breakfast, and changing clothes. Su Zining closed the door behind her. At that moment, Su Tianhe and Li Mei sneaked down the stairs. Did you see? Zining spent half an hour on her makeup this morning, Li Mei said. Old Su, guess what lipstick shade Zining is wearing? Su Tianhe was stumped. Lipstick shade? What color was it? He scratched his head. Red shade. Li Mei rolled her eyes at Su Tianhe. You really made the right choice letting Zining manage Lei's group. When we got married, your emotional intelligence was low, and now it's even lower. Let me educate you. That color is called Slay the Guy color. It's the color Zining used to dislike the most because it was too bright. Slay the Guy color, as the name implies, is a lipstick shade that has an irresistible allure for men. Su Tianhe wasn't a fool, but he was now shocked as if he were one. Why was Zining wearing such a flashy lipstick shade? Slay the Guy? A wild thought crept into his mind. Could it be that Zining is the one actively pursuing this relationship? What? There's a man who can make Zining wear a lipstick shade she doesn't like? Oh my god, who exactly is this Jiang Chen? At Lei's group, as soon as Su Zining arrived at the office, Jiang Chen pushed the door open. Hey, good morning, dear. Jiang Chen was eager to claim his 500 bond points for a hug and went straight to Su Zining's office after arriving at the company. Today, Jiang Chen was dressed in a light beige top and a pair of wide-leg jeans. With his extraordinary looks, he was simply dazzling. Su Zining couldn't take her eyes off him. Jiang Chen looked so good in this clean and fresh outfit. He was so handsome. Good morning. Su Zining replied, Huh? Where's my greeting? I said good morning, wife. What should you reply to me? Of course, it should be good morning, husband. No need to think twice, everyone knew that. But getting Su Zining to call him husband right now? She might as well dig a hole in the floor and hide in it. Even with Jiang Chen staring at her, she felt a shiver. Her heart raced, and her red lips parted slightly. Good morning, my little boyfriend. As expected, Su Zining's face turned red immediately after finishing her sentence. Jiang Chen gave himself a mental thumbs up. Just as he'd thought,
teasing Su Zining in person was far better than through a screen.
Could such a shy and enchanting scene be seen through a screen? Of course not.
But in person, he could see it all and keep watching.
Alright, progress noted. Su Zining's fart sword.
Jiang Chen was praising her. Looking up, she found Jiang Chen already standing in front of her.
Stand up. Su Zining was taken aback, huh? Stand up for what?
Confused but obedient, she stood up.
Raise your hands. Su Zining?
She raised her hands.
Hug me.
Jiang Chen said softly, his tone gentle yet slightly commanding, making Su Zining's heart race like it was running a marathon.
She gave him a light hug.
After a few seconds, she let go but leaned her head close to Jiang Chen's ear.
Good morning, my little boyfriend.
Then, she quickly sat at her desk, grabbing a pen and pretending to handle some documents.
Jiang Chen waved his hand, inhaling the fragrant air. Alright, dear, I'm going to work now.
With the beauty in his arms and his satisfaction at hand, Jiang Chen felt the start of his day was fantastic. Next, he'd get to enjoy some quality time at work.
Su Zining nodded like a little chick pecking at grains.
After a while, she didn't hear the door closing and felt puzzled.
Peeking up quietly, she caught Jiang Chen's playful gaze. Her face turned red. Jiang Chen found the scene incredibly cute and laughed. Dear, I don't mean anything. I just wanted to remind you, you're holding the pen the wrong way. After saying that, Jiang Chen left Su Zining's office.
Su Zining let out a long sigh.
What a mess.
She had been so flustered earlier that she didn't even notice she was holding the pen wrong.
How embarrassing in front of Jiang Chen. Ah, it's all his fault.
Su Zining felt a mix of emotions and clenched her little fist. As she adjusted her mood and straightened up to start working, a ray of sunshine streamed into the office, illuminating her profile, her eyes filled with a smile. In the R&D department.
Chenggu, are there any more walnuts?
You know, they were actually quite good. Chen Fan, in the middle of a game, was interrupted by Xiao Lang, who was now in a bad mood. He patted Xiao Lang's somewhat round belly.
Buddy, listen to me. Eat less junk food.
Okay. Xiao Lang, with a vacant look, responded faintly. Food is crucial. Not allowing people to eat is essentially life-threatening.
But if Chenggu says to eat less, then he'll eat less. By the way, Chenggu, how's it going with Su Zong's cousin?
Ying told me you've been visiting Su Zong's office a lot recently.
Jiang Chen scratched his head and sighed, looking a bit reluctant. He opened a drawer and pulled out another bag of walnuts, tossing it to Xiao Lang. Buddy, I think you should have another bag.
One bag of walnuts was not going to save this kid's bizarre thought process.
Jiang Chen was utterly defeated. Is Xiao Lang the only one in the world who thinks he and Su Zong's cousin are together? Wang Hai, are you polite? Xiao Yuan, Minister Wang, aren't we human too?
At 9:30, Jiang Chen had already won 3 ranked matches in a row. His timing was impeccable, favoring assassination-type champions, and he defeated his opponents like a ghost.
Feels like I'm just fishing for fish now. Jiang Chen's lips curved into a smile. Most players' strategies were still too conservative.
Just as he finished a game and was about to watch some drama, he heard his phone beep.
Su Zining, there's a high-level meeting at 10 to discuss your proposal. They hope you can be there to explain it.
Jiang Chen shrugged helplessly.
These executives. Didn't they read the proposal clearly? The proposal was nearly perfect, and Jiang Chen could easily refuse to attend if he didn't want to go.
But since Su Zining personally asked him, he felt he should attend, whether as a husband or as an employee.
And could he go for free? Jiang Chen asked himself.
He had never done a business deal that didn't make money.
Alright, I'll go. How about another hug at noon? In the office, Su Zining's mind went blank. After hugging Jiang Chen in the morning, her work efficiency skyrocketed.
In 2 hours, she completed what usually took 4 hours. Now, all she could think about was when can she hug Jiang Chen again.
Result? Su Zining, sure, I'll hug you at noon.
Do a good job presenting, and I'll reward you with another hug tonight.
Jiang Chen was thrilled.
Killing 2 birds with 1 stone, he'd have both the noon and evening hugs.
1,000 bond points.
Alright, dear. Just let me know which conference room to go to later.
Chapter 14, Overly Picky? Finding fault in a minor detail, asterisk asterisk. In the president's office, Su Zining had a knowing smile on her face. She couldn't help but tease herself. Humph, Su Zining, you're so good at talking. Hugging Jiang Chen twice as a reward? Clearly, it's a reward for yourself, isn't it? At that moment, someone knocked on the door. Su Zining's expression instantly switched to a frosty demeanor. Come in. Secretary Zhang walked in with the sound of high heels, setting down a stack of documents. President Su, the meeting is confirmed for conference room 2 later. These are a few proposals submitted by Minister Wang Hai just now. Mr. Tang's instructions are for you to review them and see if there are any equally impressive ones to bring along. Su Zining nodded faintly. Just leave them here. Secretary Zhang carefully placed the documents and poured Su Zining a new cup of tea. President Su, should I notify Jiang Chen? Su Zining paused, then waved her hand. No need. I'll discuss the proposals with Jiang Chen later. By the way, let him know as well. Secretary Zhang smiled knowingly and bowed. All right, President Su. I'll go prepare the materials for the meeting now. Call me if you need anything. After she left, Su Zining let out a sigh of relief. She took out her phone and found her chat with Jiang Chen. Meeting in conference room 2. My little boyfriend. Jiang Chen, okay. Su Zining put down her phone and picked up the stack of documents Secretary Zhang had just brought. It must be said that with Wang Hai personally overseeing the overtime work, the efficiency in the R&D department had really improved. At 10 o'clock, Jiang Chen headed straight for conference room 2. Inside, for senior executives were already engaged in conversation. Jiang Chen walked in without hesitation. The manager in charge of the company's channel operations, Zhang, the vice president in charge of business operations, Wang, and the overseas director, Zhao, were all present. Jiang Chen wasn't intimidated and greeted them all. The last senior executive was the vice president in charge of company finances, Chen Shanming. Upon seeing Jiang Chen and greeting him, he frowned, scrutinizing Jiang Chen from head to toe. Jiang Chen, don't you think your attire is a bit too casual? Chen Shanming snorted. There was a soft rule in the company: attending high-level meetings required a formal attitude and formal dress. It was known that this rule was set personally by President Su Zining. At Lei's Group, what does Su Zining's name represent? The actual power holder, the top shareholder, the executive president. Her word was like an imperial edict. Mr. Chen, I was called to this meeting on short notice and didn't have time to change into formal wear. Besides, I don't think this outfit is too casual. Jiang Chen thought it was ridiculous. He wouldn't even change if he had time. If it weren't for Su Zining, he wouldn't have shown up at all. The reason Su Zining didn't have him explain the proposal was that she understood it herself. Many less competent senior executives couldn't understand it, which was why Jiang Chen was called in to explain. Casual? Oh, Mr. Chen, you don't know? This outfit had Su Zining mesmerized this morning. Besides, what's wrong with wearing jeans and a t-shirt? Haven't you ever worn that before? Look at what we're all wearing: formal attire. Then look at what you're wearing. Are you trying to show off in front of your superiors? Chen Shanming's tone was low and accusatory, feeling somewhat smug. He had been reprimanded by Su Zining before for not wearing formal attire. These 3 lines were all things Su Zining had said to him. Now, using them to scold Jiang Chen felt particularly satisfying. Many other senior executives had also arrived, aware of Chen Shanming's previous reprimand for not dressing formally. They discussed among themselves. Jiang Chen, it does seem a bit informal. Why don't you quickly go downstairs and borrow something more appropriate from a colleague? Ah, there's no need to be angry with Mr. Chen. He's just looking out for you. Jiang Chen felt helpless. Was this how it worked? Higher rank meant more power to reprimand? The next moment, the sound of high heels echoed in the hallway. Su Zining and Secretary Zhang arrived, accompanied by a middle-aged man whom Jiang Chen recognized, Tang Zhang, the company's second-largest shareholder. As Su Zining entered and saw Chen Shanming and Jiang Chen seemingly at odds, surrounded by several shareholders, her brows furrowed. What's going on? Chen Shanming was hoping to hear Su Zining reprimand Jiang Chen. He would enjoy hearing her do it, which would make it even more satisfying. President Su, it's like this. Jiang Chen from the R&D department has come to the high-level meeting wearing jeans and a t-shirt. I feel it's a bit casual. He's not showing the proper attitude for attending the meeting. When asked to change, he refused, so I gave him a few words. Don't worry about it. Every word was about punishing Jiang Chen, focused solely on punishing Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen shrugged helplessly. Mr. Qian's summary is accurate. I have nothing more to say. Su Zining bit her lower lip and pondered. She had just reviewed the newly submitted documents, and by the time she was done, it was already past 10 o'clock. Now, it was clear that Jiang Chen was being harassed by Qian Shanming. She felt a bit guilty. If she had processed the documents faster and arrived earlier, this wouldn't have happened. Su Zining raised her gaze. All the senior executives in the meeting room were sweating nervously. Those who didn't know Jiang Chen waited to see the outcome, while those who knew him felt nervous. Jiang Chen had good talent in Art D. If he was confirmed as the final solution, he would surely rise rapidly. It was unexpected that he made such a mistake. Everyone present thought Jiang Chen was in trouble. After all, as a vice president, Qian Shanming had been strict even with Su Zining and showed no leniency. How could Jiang Chen, a mere department member, escape unscathed? Su Zining's gaze was indeed icy, but surprisingly, she turned to look at Qian Shanming. What's wrong with Jiang Chen's attire? Mr. Qian, please explain. Qian Shanming's heart tightened, sensing something was off. But it had reached this point, so he had to speak up. President Su, everyone else is in formal attire, while Jiang Chen is dressed like this. Isn't it just for show, flashy? Su Zining's eyes locked onto Qian Shanming's, and she spoke calmly. Jeans and a t-shirt are indeed not formal attire, but Jiang Chen's outfit is clean and appropriate. What's wrong with that? Mr. Qian seems to be nitpicking, doesn't he? In that case, I expect to see a complete and detailed financial report by tomorrow. I also want to see you find fault in that. If Mr. Qian is still fixated on the last incident, I can only say that your black suit with khaki shorts is not flashy but rather unconventional. Apologize to Jiang Chen after the meeting, and let's proceed. A burst of laughter erupted in the meeting room. Su Zining took her seat at the head of the table, while Qian Shanming, red-faced, returned to his seat. The meeting finally began. Jiang Chen slightly squinted his eyes. Such a commanding presence, so stylish and beautiful, a great wife. Jiang Chen didn't pay much attention to the earlier discussions until Su Zining gave him a look. He stood up and walked to the big screen, ready to present his design proposal. The design proposal completed in 20 minutes. The report on the SK Divine Water theme finished in 5 minutes. Product name, Encountering That Love. Jiang Chen stood tall, bowed to the audience. Good morning, leaders. I am honored to present my design proposal today. Whether it is chosen as the final proposal is a minor issue. Here, I am more interested in receiving your feedback to improve and perfect it. With these words, Jiang Chen couldn't help but praise himself. This flattery, just like sweet talk. He spoke eloquently, and was ready to show some senior executives what a top-notch proposal looked like. Chapter 15, Youth. The perfect explanation, ****. Under the gaze of everyone, Jiang Chen continued. First, the name, Encountering That Love. People are of different ranks, but time and life are not divided. A girl sheltering from the rain under the eaves, a ponytailed girl in the next class who makes your heart skip a beat. This is the youthful fate everyone experiences, and it's beautiful. So, I named it Encountering That Love to reflect the main theme of youth. Jiang Chen took a deep breath. He had just come up with that explanation on the spot. It only took him 5 minutes to finalize the SK Divine Water proposal. He hadn't really thought about the name. He just picked 5 names randomly and went with the one that came up. But the leaders below didn't know that. They murmured among themselves. Indeed, youth is always a theme worth celebrating. This starting point is quite good. Who doesn't have a young girl in their youth? Su Zining's lips curved into a slight smile as she gave Jiang Chen an encouraging glance. Jiang Chen nodded and smiled slightly. May I ask, leaders, what kind of scent do you think this youth love should have? Manager Zhang spoke first. It should be one of excitement with a touch of shyness. This opened the floodgates for the leaders, especially the male ones. In my memory, her smile was sweet. Sweet? I think it should be a feeling of unease. Encountering someone, the heart skipping a beat, shouldn't it be a surprise? Jiang Chen made a pause gesture, and the conference room fell silent. Your thoughts have surprised me. Many of them are things I hadn't considered. This proves that my skills still need some honing and practice. It was all about flattering the leaders before continuing with the proposal. Jiang Chen then shifted his tone. But I still want to share my thoughts. I think, whether it's excitement, sweetness, shyness, or unease, I want to summarize it into one thing. I don't want to stop here. Imagine you suddenly meet a girl and feel very moved. Your emotions are surging, and it feels like a fateful encounter, a whirlwind of feelings. What do you most want to do? To get to know her better, pursue her, and eventually win her over. There's nothing wrong with that. How could it stop at the first meeting? As expected, after Jiang Chen finished speaking, the leaders exchanged nods, so I chose lavender as the main note. Because the scent of lavender is hard to capture suddenly. Just like, if it weren't for a heavy rain, you wouldn't have sheltered under the eaves with her. If it weren't for the evening breeze blowing open the next classroom's window, you wouldn't have seen her through the window. And when you notice the lavender scent, its faint, calming fragrance makes you want to keep smelling it. Isn't that just not wanting to stop here? Jiang Chen's mind was racing, and he wasn't sure if some of the more clueless leaders understood. After a while, no one responded, and Jiang Chen felt a bit anxious, frowning. Damn it, can't someone at least react? After a full half-minute of silence, the entire conference room erupted into thunderous applause. Some leaders even had knowing smiles on their faces. Jiang Chen's explanation is flawless. Yes, striving for perfection and responding to the theme, this can be considered perfect. I agree. I recommend adopting this as the final plan. Next, Jiang Chen continued explaining with background stories and choices of sense. His vivid explanation left the senior executives below stunned. By the end of the presentation, Jiang Chen had lost count of how many times the leaders had applauded him. Zining was the same. She considered her own expertise in the field of perfume to be high. But before, she had only seen the surface of the proposal. Jiang Chen's explanation revealed much deeper and more intricate aspects. The emotional tone, attention to detail, and even the minor roles of the byproducts were all meticulously designed. Jiang Chen was truly excellent facing the senior executives and explaining in a poised and confident manner. The proposal was flawless. How could such a perfect man exist in this world? He's my little boyfriend. At that moment, Zining wanted to hug Jiang Chen. Really wanted to. Her gaze unconsciously drifted to Jiang Chen's profile, and her heart melted. Suddenly, an off-key voice sounded. This proposal is indeed impressive and recognized by everyone. But, Jiang Chen, aren't you a bit too arrogant? Your entire proposal is based on a man's perspective. The main users of perfume are women. It was Shanming. He had waited a long time and finally found a flaw in Jiang Chen's proposal. He had lost face earlier, and he couldn't feel right without making Jiang Chen uncomfortable. But, contrary to his expectations, Jiang Chen didn't seem anxious at all. He just looked at him with a smile. Perhaps it would be better for Mr. Wang, who is in charge of business operations, to answer this question for you. In other words, Jiang Chen was too lazy to argue with Shanming. He had figured out that although Shanming was a vice president, he was somewhat out of touch. Since Jiang Chen has pointed it out, let me explain it to you, Mr. Chen. Vice President Wan was now impressed by Jiang Chen. This young man was incredibly talented, and the proposal was perfect. You say the main users are women, but according to market data, men actually constitute a higher proportion of perfume consumers than women. To put it simply, after hearing Jiang Chen's proposal, I want to be the first to get this perfume for my wife. To reminisce about those shy, youthful days. I think this will be the psychology of most future consumers. Jiang Chen grinned. Vice President Wang still didn't get it. Men buy it to give to women, adding romance to their memories of youthful love. Women buy it for themselves, using the scent of youthful love to captivate men. But Shanming frowned, seemingly still wanting to say something. Chapter 16, let's go. Do something we love, ***. Old Shen, don't be so negative. I think Xiao Zhang's proposal is quite good. I just discussed it with Ning Ning and we decided to go with it as the final plan. In business, careful consideration is important, but we also need a bit of boldness. Tang Jiang spoke kindly, directly interrupting Shanming. Jiang Chen let out a long sigh. Since Tang Jiang had spoken, he decided to let it go. Otherwise, he might have made a mess of things with Shanming. With Su Zining and Tang Jiang making the decision, the meeting was considered over. The meeting adjourned. Su Zining had intended to remind Jiang Chen to come to her office later for a hug. Unexpectedly, Tang Jiang beat her to it. Xiao Jiang, the report was really well done. There are not many young people who can make me give a thumbs up. Jiang Chen smiled faintly, respectful and polite. Mr. Tang, you flatter me. There are still many issues. It just happened that I got the theme I carefully designed this time. Tang Jiang was slightly taken aback and gave Jiang Chen a mental thumbs up. Humble, confident, and not arrogant, this young man was impressive. Nodding to himself, he handed Jiang Chen a business card. Xiao Jiang, this card has my personal phone number. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. A personal business card represented connections and approval. Jiang Chen understood this and accepted it without hesitation. Thank you, Mr. Tang. Tang Jiang patted Jiang Chen on the shoulder and walked away with a smile. Around the corner, Jiang Chen saw Su Zining quietly standing at the elevator. Hey, isn't this my beautiful, freezing wife? Waiting for your dear little boyfriend? Su Zining's face flushed red. After checking to ensure no one was around, she pouted playfully, not at all. I just missed the elevator. There were too many people, I couldn't squeeze in. Jiang Chen's face darkened. Why was his wife so adorably clueless? Can't she even lie properly? In the entire leg group, who would dare compete with President Su Zining for the elevator? Are they looking for trouble or what? The elevator's here now. Let's go. Let's head to your office and do something we both love. Su Zining's face turned even redder at the thought of a hug in the office, hee. It already made her quite shy, but the next second, Jiang Chen directly took her right hand. In an instant, Su Zining felt as if she had been electrocuted. Hey! Jiang Chen! Let go! Su Zining, terrified, saw there was no one in the elevator. She darted into the elevator like a startled rabbit. It wasn't until the elevator doors closed that Su Zining let out a long breath. Holding Jiang Chen's hand gave her a reassuring feeling from deep within him. Since no one can see, let him hold my hand a little longer. Consider it a reward for such an excellent presentation? Su Zining, you're really a considerate and gentle girlfriend. No, I mean, girlfriend. So, the two of them walked hand in hand until they reached Su Zining's office. The moment the door closed, Su Zining was pushed against the wall by Jiang Chen with one hand. Dear, come here. Su Zining gave a coquettish hum, her lips curling into a mischievous smile. Come where? Jiang Chen was thinking too comfortably, wasn't he? Humph, you just say hug and expect it to happen? Do I have no pride? Jiang Chen leaned in again, raising his eyebrows and smiling. My wife, Xiao Jiang, wouldn't break her word, would she? Su Zining playfully pouted and frowned. Well, that's true. She opened her arms and gave Jiang Chen a big hug. Poof. Jiang Chen took a deep breath. 500 intimacy points earned, great. Holding such a beautiful woman felt wonderful. He noticed that Su Zining was also making progress. At least, after this hug, she didn't shy away and hide her face. She could even look directly at him. Not bad. Good wife. Jiang Chen couldn't help but praise, gently brushing Su Zining's blushing nose. Su Zining was stunned. This gesture is too intimate. Her face turned red again in an instant. Instinctively wanting to distance herself from Jiang Chen, she quickly sat back at her desk, supporting her forehead with her right hand. I suddenly remembered I need to sort out the meeting notes from this morning. Wow, so busy, so much work, I need to hurry up. Su Zining muttered to herself. Jiang Chen was puzzled. What did I do? Why did this girl get shy again? Damn it, the internet was right, women's hearts are hard to guess. At the Shangri-La Hotel in Jinghai City. This place was always full of luxury cars, and the palace-like decor was dazzling. The wealthy women coming and going were dressed in high-end brands, with graceful manners and proper speech. Even the staff were impeccably dressed and courteous. At that moment, a Rolls-Royce slowly came to a stop at the Shangri-La Hotel's entrance. Su Tianhe got out from the back seat and walked towards the middle-aged man waiting by the roadside. Old Tang, sorry, I had insomnia last night, so I caught up on sleep this morning and arrived late. Tang Jiang glanced at Su Tianhe, visibly displeased with the long wait. Hey, I came right after finishing the meeting at Leg Group. He had waited a full half hour. Raising an eyebrow and smiling. Old Sue, insomnia? Is it because of your health? I told you before to be moderate, 1 drop of essence and 10 drops of blood. Are you regretting it now? Su Tianhe frowned and glared at Tang Jiang. Get lost, you old pervert. I was excited and happily stayed up. Indeed, the reason Su Tianhe was excited and couldn't sleep was that Su Zining was in a relationship. Just last night, Su Tianhe had already planned everything depending on the boy's surname. If it's a boy, he would be named Tiancheng. If it's a girl, she would be named Xin Yue. For the diapers, they should be of good quality and changed frequently. Tang Jiang and Su Tianhe sat in a private room in the Zining pavilion, ordered drinks and dishes, and began chatting. Old Su, if you want to hear about something exciting, I have something too. You don't know, but there's a talent at Leg. Su Tianhe's eyes lit up. Talent? Historically, emperors cherish talent, and now even capitalists appreciate talented people. Oh? Old Tang, tell me, who can catch your eye? Actually, Leg Group was a joint investment by Su Tianhe and Tang Jiang. Only Su Tianhe's shares were transferred to Su Zining, and Tang Jiang held a smaller stake. The two had always been good brothers, and Su Tianhe often learned about his daughter's work issues through Tang Jiang, so Su Tianhe knew better than anyone that Tang Jiang was a very strict person. In terms of work, especially in design, Tang Jiang had his own methods. Being called a talent by Tang Jiang was definitely not ordinary. At the very least, they should be better than Jiang Chen's younger brother, right? Tang Jiang built up suspense and said with a teasing smile. Old Su, imagine a young man in his early 20s, facing the senior executives at Leg. Not humble, not arrogant, speaking appropriately, perfectly articulating his design ideas. Isn't that impressive? Su Tianhe scratched his head, puzzled. What's so special about that? It's quite normal. Damn, I know Jiang Chen's younger brother. When we talk privately, his presence is not inferior to mine. I'm worth hundreds of billions. Jiang Chen's younger brother is even more impressive, right? Is that all? Tang Jiang gave Su Tianhe a harsh look. Of course not. Before the meeting started, he was hassled by Qian Shanming. And what happened? A junior employee, facing a vice president, wasn't intimidated at all. This courage and confidence is also worth noting, right? Su Tianhe was even more unconvinced. Damn it! I offered an extra 100,000 to buy Jiang Chen's younger brother's necklace, and he didn't even flinch. To pursue my daughter, risking offending me. Isn't that even more courageous and confident? And you're calling that a talent? It's far from being as impressive as Jiang Chen's younger brother. Finally, he added with a smirk. Old Tang, your standards have lowered recently. Chapter 17, Is it really brother Jiang Chen? Tang Jiang slammed his hand on the table and growled, Can you let me finish speaking? Su Tianhe shrugged, indicating for Tang Jiang to continue. Tang Jiang rolled his eyes and picked up a piece of cold dish. The design proposal is flawless, with no mistakes to be found. Every word he said had its unique purpose, whether in handling matters or in conversation. How do you feel about it, old Su? Su Tianhe raised an eyebrow. It's just maturity, really. What's the big deal? Jiang Chen is like that too. How perfect is the proposal? At this moment, a waiter brought in some white wine, pouring it for Su Tianhe and Tang Jiang before bowing and leaving the room. Tang Jiang smacked his lips, thinking about how to deliver the shocking news. He had it. The original design time allocated to the R&D department was 5 days. You know Ning Ning's character, right? She's a perfectionist who looks for flaws even in an egg. Today is only the second day when she saw this employee's design proposal. She praised it non-stop and immediately approved it as the final proposal. What does this tell you? Su Tianhe nearly choked on his wine. What? Confirmed as the final proposal on the second day? Is this something my daughter would do? Su Tianhe knew Su Zining was a perfectionist. If it's only the second day and most of the employees haven't even submitted their proposals yet, for Ning Ning to immediately finalize this one seems outrageous. And this employee, submitting such a perfect proposal just on the second day? Su Tianhe was suddenly energized and gave Tang Jiang a thumbs up. Old Tang, this really is a talent. Quick, tell me his name so I can mention him to Ning Ning.
Also, keep an eye on him in the company. He needs to be nurtured.
Tang Jiang smirked, clearly enjoying Su Tianhe's reaction.
Are you shocked? Bewildered? Jiang Chen from the R&D department, he's only been with the company for a little over a year, right? As soon as Tang Jiang's words fell, Su Tianhe spit out his drink, spraying it everywhere. His eyes were locked on Tang Jiang, full of confusion, as if saying, "Did you just say his name is Jiang Chen? Are you sure?" Su Tianhe quickly regained his composure. This couldn't be the Jiang Chen he knew, right? After all, if someone had a brother who could spend 3 million on a necklace, would he work as a junior employee at Lage? It wouldn't make sense. Old Su, I told you your health is a problem. You even spit out your drink. You really should see a doctor. Su Tianhe was perplexed. Spitting out wine and health? How does that even connect? Forget about that. Show me Jiang Chen's photo. I want to see what a genius of the new era looks like. Just to confirm whether this is really the Jiang Chen he knew. Tang Jiang didn't think much of it. Every year Lage has an annual meeting. He casually flipped through the group photo of the R&D department and handed his phone to Su Tianhe. That's the most handsome one. Su Tianhe, with a trembling hand and a racing heart, saw Jiang Chen's figure in the photo. He exclaimed, "What the heck? It really is the Jiang Chen he knew? He works at Lage Group? My goodness. Old Tang, now I understand why you praised him so highly. I had a previous encounter with Jiang Chen." Su Tianhe briefly described his encounter with Jiang Chen, leaving Tang Jiang stunned. You mean Ning Ning is dating Jiang Chen's brother? Su Tianhe nodded heavily. Yes, that's right. But I haven't met Jiang Chen's brother yet. It's also not appropriate to ask Ning Ning about it. Tang Jiang was thrilled, his face beaming with excitement. If Jiang Chen is this outstanding, his brother must be no less impressive. Old Su, you're fulfilling your dreams here. Tang Jiang had his own plans. With a brother like Jiang Chen who can spend 3 million on a necklace, his background couldn't be simple, no way. Good men like this are hard to find. He's just perfect for my daughter. Tang Jiang's lips curled into a smile as he raised his glass. Old Su, enough about this. Let's drink. So, the two men, each with their own schemes, drank heartily. At 2 p.m., Jiang Chen clocked in on time and had just taken his seat at his workstation when Wang Hai walked into the office, lightly clearing his throat. He was worried about disturbing Jiang Chen from watching TV. After all, this was Su Zining's cousin-in-law. If he scared him, that would be a big mistake. Wang Hai lowered his voice and adopted a very friendly attitude. Everyone, pay attention. We don't need to work on the research proposal anymore. Jiang Chen's design has been confirmed as the final proposal. The entire office was stunned. What? So fast? This is not typical behavior for the company's top executives. Immediately, there was a flurry of discussions, and Wang Hai quickly gestured for silence. Jiang Chen's proposal is very suitable for this new product. Su Zining has decided to raise Jiang Chen's bonus to 200,000. A double increase? 200,000? That's equivalent to their salaries for over a year. In addition, an extra 100,000 will be shared among the R&D department. Tomorrow is Friday. There will be a team-building event in the company's cafeteria at noon, and in the afternoon, we will get an early holiday. As soon as Wang Hai finished speaking, the entire R&D department erupted in cheers. Wow! Jiang Chen is amazing, and Su Zining is a goddess forever. Heavens, brother Jiang Chen, we love you. 100,000. Everyone gets several thousand each. Jiang Chen is our hero. Jiang Chen smiled slightly. As expected of Su Zining. With 100,000 yuan, she had secured the hearts of the R&D department employees. Early confirmation of the proposal meant earlier production and benefits. The 100,000 yuan would quickly be earned back. Xiao Lang mischievously shot Jiang Chen a glance. Brother Chen, it really is your cousin-in-law. She's taking such good care of you, directly confirming the final proposal. Impressive. Jiang Chen. Keep your mouth shut. Have you finished the walnuts from the morning? Xiao Lang nodded, giving a thumbs up. Yes, they were so delicious. We finished a whole bag quickly. Jiang Chen wasn't stingy, especially since Xiao Lang was his brother. He took out his phone and sent Xiao Lang a link. Buy from this store.
Eat more if you can. Good. Damn, how many times has he refused Xiaolang? This kid still keeps calling her cousin-in-law? He's really something. It's not just my cousin-in-law, she's my wife. Eat more and stay healthy. Just as Xiaolang was about to speak, Wang Hai approached with a smile. Jiang Chen, everyone just discussed this. For tomorrow's team building, as the biggest contributor, you need to perform a talent. A talent? Jiang Chen was taken aback. Like stand-up comedy? Wang Hai blinked and shook his head. That's prone to awkwardness. Indeed, Jiang Chen lightly cleared his throat. How about a runway show? It fits me well, right? Wang Hai scratched his head. That's perfect, but tomorrow's occasion might not be suitable. I heard Su Zining will be there. Too flashy might not be appropriate. Chapter 18, Warmth. It's the love of my little boyfriend, Su Shanyo is coming? Jiang Chen was taken aback. No wonder Wang Hai was anxious and didn't want to make things too flashy. But what does that have to do with him, Jiang Chen? Performing something to make Su Shanyo laugh? Ah, it's just Su Zining. Don't worry, I've got it all planned. At this moment, Jiang Chen decided to play it cool. Wang Hai suddenly realized, right, why am I worrying? Jiang Chen is Su Zining's cousin-in-law. He can handle whatever performance he wants. Oh, my head, then I'm relieved. Wang Hai quickly walked away, no longer bothering Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen's lips curled into a slight smile. He had recently developed a keen interest in stand-up comedy performances and found them quite fascinating. He wanted to give it a try. So, ding, congratulations, host has triggered a hidden mission. Tomorrow's team building, impress Su Zining, reward 1,000 bond points. P.S. Use lottery skill, piano master, rewards doubled. Jiang Chen was stunned. Wow, I actually got that skill? Piano rewards doubled? It made sense, really. Stand-up comedy can easily flop and leave the audience awkwardly silent. It's safer to stick to the piano. System skills are more reliable. Not for earning shock value, but for stability. Since he didn't have to work on the proposal, Jiang Chen spent the afternoon gaming with Xiaolang. Although Xiaolang wasn't very skilled, he played decently. They won consecutive matches, and with the workday nearly over, Jiang Chen headed straight to Su Zining's office on the top floor. It was time for some bonding and a hug. He still didn't knock on the door but was taken aback when he saw Su Shanyo actually asleep at her desk. In the middle of summer, with the office's air conditioning set low, Su Zining was only wearing a professional blouse. You'll catch a cold sleeping like this. Normally, Jiang Chen should have woken Su Zining up, hugged her, and then left. But he thought about it and decided against it. That would be too inconsiderate. Jiang Chen was familiar with Su Zining's office. There was a wardrobe in the right-hand corner. He needed to find a jacket for Su Zining. Staring at the wardrobe, Jiang Chen hesitated. Would opening it without permission make her angry? What if there were things he shouldn't see? But then he thought, damn it, she's my wife. I'll open it. There might be something interesting. Feeling relieved, Jiang Chen pulled open the wardrobe. A faint, familiar fragrance met him, the same as Su Zining's. The clothes inside were neatly arranged, and there were several sets of professional outfits. Does this girl only have work clothes? Jiang Chen murmured, finally spotting a sports jacket at the very bottom of the wardrobe. This looks good, and the thickness is just right. He closed the wardrobe door and quietly approached Su Zining, glancing at her delicate face. He couldn't help but feel that Su Zining was so tired that she fell asleep at her desk. He gently placed the jacket over her shoulders. Ding, detected that host cares for loved one. Mission substitute for evening hug task. Bond points earned, 500. Jiang Chen gasped. Wow, impressive. The system really knows how to handle things. This trip wasn't in vain. Nodding in satisfaction, Jiang Chen turned to leave the office. He didn't want to wake Su Zining. She was exhausted and deserved to rest. But just as he took 2 steps, suddenly, an alarm went off behind him. What the heck? As expected, Su Zining immediately sat up. She shivered, feeling cold, and noticed, why is there a jacket on me? Oh well, I'll put it on first. Jiang Chen should be coming soon. Hee hee, I need to wake up quickly. Su Zining's mind started racing. The alarm was set specifically to avoid sleeping through the time. She set the alarm to be sure she wouldn't oversleep. Little did she expect. Jiang Chen, who used to come only after her colleagues left, would show up 5 minutes early today. She looked up and saw Jiang Chen, whose eyes were filled with teasing laughter. Su Zining was stunned. Jiang Chen, when did you get here? Her face visibly reddened as Su Zining weakly asked. Just a few minutes ago. I thought I wouldn't get a hug tonight. Wife is so good, setting an alarm to wake up and hug me. Jiang Chen teased, his eyes shining. He would bet that in his years working at Lei's Group, he had never seen Su Zining wear anything other than professional outfits. Seeing Su Zining in this sports jacket, Jiang Chen felt her entire aura had changed. She wasn't so aloof anymore. She now had a warm, playful big sister vibe. Pfft, not really. I was afraid you wouldn't get a hug today and would complain tomorrow. Last night you didn't hug me, so you should hug me more today. Su Zining huffed, clearly displeased. Jiang Chen was surprised and gave Su Zining an inward thumbs up. As expected of my wife, she truly understands me. Then, how about a hug now, wife? Su Zining pouted and nodded. Jiang Chen walked over to Su Zining and gave her a simple hug. He was actually testing if receiving the bond points substitute for the evening hug task would still grant him more bond points. However, there was no system notification. Looks like it doesn't work that way. But hugging his wife was not a loss. If it didn't count, so be it, he had already earned his points for today. By the way, wife, I've noticed you have a special charm when not in professional attire. Why don't you try some different styles of clothing? Su Zining's brain buzzed. She suddenly realized. This jacket was picked out by Jiang Chen himself from the wardrobe while she was asleep. He personally put it on me? No wonder I'm not cold anymore. It's because of my little boyfriend's thoughtful and tender love. Chapter 19, Wife, hear my excuse. You men all like professional outfits, don't you? Mature and intellectual? Su Zining asked with a smile, her eyes twinkling. Jiang Chen was taken aback, his forehead creased with confusion. Who said that? Su Zining furrowed her brows slightly and pointed towards the adjacent room. Secretary Zhang, for example. Ever since she started dating your little brother. She dresses so maturely every day. It must be because your brother likes it, right? Jiang Chen let out a long sigh. Was I like that crude little brother of Xiaolang? I'm much more sophisticated. Changing styles and tastes is much fresher, isn't it? Jiang Chen's lips curved into a faint smile if he had to say what he liked most. In fact, my favorite is in sportswear. It's JK. Su Zining was bewildered, looking at Jiang Chen with confusion. What is JK? Jiang Chen was stunned. What the heck? Even though Su Zining was the IC president of Lei's Group, she was still a girl in her early 20s. How could she not know what JK is? Doesn't she have internet at home? It's a type of uniform, and I think it would really suit you. It's also a kind of uniform. What's the difference from professional attire? Jiang Chen's explanation didn't make sense to Su Zining. She only understood one thing. JK is the outfit Jiang Chen likes. Really suits me? Jiang Chen smiled and moved closer to Su Zining. Yes, especially suited for a silly woman like you who drools in her sleep. Su Zining was stunned. I drool in my sleep? She looked up and followed Jiang Chen's gaze to her desk where she had just been sleeping. Indeed, there was a tiny, glistening. Her face flushed bright red in an instant. Oh no! How embarrassing! Jiang Chen! Why didn't you tell me earlier? You did it on purpose. Su Zining's body was shaking with anger as she glared at Jiang Chen. How embarrassing could it get? Oh, come on, wife. I just noticed it too. It's no big deal, everyone drools in their sleep. I just helped clean it up. Su Zining was horrified and snatched the tissue from Jiang Chen's hand. But losing her balance, she stumbled. Her whole body was about to fall heavily to the floor. Damn! Jiang Chen was startled and quickly reached out, catching Su Zining in his arms. Damn, this silly girl. Luckily, I reacted fast. Otherwise, she might have fallen and hurt herself badly. Feeling something soft in his palm, Jiang Chen sucked in a breath. It's really soft. He squeezed gently. Hard? Must be bones, right? His gaze inadvertently moved downward, just as it met Su Zining's eyes. Jiang Chen. You pervert. Jiang Chen blurted out a curse. Wife, hear my excuse. No, wife, let me explain. His brain raced as Jiang Chen realized. He had intentionally squeezed a little more. What can he even explain now? Run away. Wife, hey, I just remembered I have something to do tonight. I still need to perform tomorrow. Got to go now, bye. Oh, and I cleaned up for you. Jiang Chen quickly grabbed the tissue and wiped the desk clean. Without another word, he bolted out of Su Zining's office. Damn, teasing Su Xianyo is addictive. I almost forgot she's still that ice-cold president. Ding, based on the host's intimate actions with the loved one. Bond points +5, reaching 65 points, daily check-in rewards doubled. Host saved the damsel in distress, prevented her from falling, and performed excellently. Special reward, 2,000 bond points. Jiang Chen scratched his head. This was a huge gain. Meanwhile, in the president's office, Su Zining felt her whole face burning with embarrassment. If there was a thermometer nearby, she'd probably be at 38.6 degrees. Ah. Is he really that bad? Su Zining thought about the embarrassing scene. She almost fell, and Jiang Chen caught her. Of course, it was fine. Although he touched her waist, she wasn't unreasonable. But why did he deliberately squeeze it again? That jerk, groping. Lucky for him, he ran away fast. Su Zining pouted. No one had ever touched her waist like that before. In her words, she had a fierce determination to tear Jiang Chen apart. But as for what she truly felt inside, only she knew. Anyway, looking at her expression, she seemed to be happily absorbed in her own thoughts. After a while, Su Zining took a deep breath and made a phone call. Come over here. 2 minutes later, Secretary Jiang entered. President Su, you called for me? Su Zining knew there were many trivial matters today. So Secretary Jiang would be staying at the office until 10 o'clock. Rest a bit more tomorrow morning, just come to the office by 10. Secretary Jiang was surprised. As a seasoned secretary, she immediately grasped Su Zining's meaning. Is there something you need me to do, President Su? Su Zining gave a faint in response. She started to speak but hesitated, unsure of how to start. Help me buy a JK outfit. Secretary Jiang nearly fell to the floor. A seasoned secretary? Even the Secretary General of the UN couldn't handle President Su's request. Buy a JK outfit? President Su, are you sure you mean JK, not CK? Su Zining nodded. JK, a type of uniform. Help me buy a set. Secretary Jiang's brain raced. She couldn't even picture Su Zining in a JK outfit. President Su, from which brand? Any color preference? Su Zining was momentarily taken aback. Her gaze shifted to her computer, and she quickly opened a document. Found Jiang Chen's preferences. Favorite color, blue. Blue, I guess. As for the style, just pick what you think is good. Secretary Jiang saw Su Zining look at the computer and breathed a sigh of relief. It should be for someone else, right? That's good, she was scared half to death. Understood, President Su. After Secretary Jiang left, Su Zining relaxed. Her gaze instinctively fell on the desk. Just now, Jiang Chen, in his panic, wiped away her drool. In fact, Su Zining refused Jiang Chen only because she was afraid. She feared Jiang Chen would be disgusted with her, after all. It was drool. But Jiang Chen didn't mind. This made Su Zining deeply happy and content. A sense of being chosen and secure from the bottom of her heart. Since my little boyfriend performed so well, I'll wear the clothes he likes tomorrow for him to see. Hope he won't mind me. Su Zining's face was full of anticipation on Jingxiang Street, Tianjin music store. Jiang Chen's face darkened. It was not even 7 o'clock yet. And the music store was already closed? Seriously, is there no one buying pianos at night? Scratching his head, Jiang Chen found the store owner's number on the wall. Hello, I'm outside the piano store and want to buy a piano. Is there any chance you could come to the store? Chapter 20, Add More Money. Money can push even ghosts, asterisk asterisk. Jiang Chen wanted to buy a piano for tomorrow's talent show. Even with the system-enhanced piano master skills, he didn't want to be too casual about it. Buying a piano, familiarizing himself with the keys, and selecting a piece was necessary. Buddy, I just got home. My wife has even cooked dinner. Can we do this tomorrow? Zhang Jian, the owner of Tianjin Music Store, responded with a hint of apology. The reason he wasn't in a hurry was simple. Tianjin Music Store's pianos were famous throughout Qinghai City. There was no worry about selling them, and he just didn't want to move tonight. After dinner, his wife and child were enjoying the warmth of the bed. Wouldn't that be nice? Jiang Chen was slightly taken aback. Tomorrow? That wouldn't do. He needed it tonight, it had to be bought. Add 2,000 yuan for the delivery fee. On the other end of the line, Zhang Jian was visibly surprised. 2,000 yuan for delivery? His store wasn't far, just a 10-minute drive. Do you have a preferred model? As expected, money talks. Jiang Chen inhaled deeply. A preferred model? He glanced through the store's window. There was a piano displayed separately, looking more high-end and classy than the others. After telling Zhang Jian he wanted that one, Zhang Jian looked a bit troubled, taking off the coat he had just put on. Buddy, this model has been reserved. Maybe you could come to the store tomorrow and look at other options? Reserved? Jiang Chen nodded subtly and took another look around. The other pianos, in terms of style and appearance, were far inferior to that one. As the saying goes, if you're going to do something, do it right. When buying something, you must get exactly what you want. Deposit? Sorry, money can push even ghosts. How much did the person pay for the deposit? Zhang Jian's eyes lit up. He vaguely understood Jiang Chen's intention. He was trying to intercept the deal. That's not how business works. Integrity is important. 20,000 yuan, the piano costs around 480,000 yuan. If they breach the contract, we'll have to pay double the deposit. Sir, I really can't transfer it to you. Jiang Chen's lips curled into a slight smile. Can't transfer? If the piano's original price is 480,000 yuan, although this type of piano isn't overpriced. Zhang Jian's deal with the customer was definitely lower than 480,000 yuan. 500,000 yuan. I want this piano delivered to my home tonight. Zhang Jian swallowed hard, looking at the delicious spread his wife had just prepared. His appetite vanished instantly. 500,000 yuan, with nearly 100,000 yuan in profit. Even with double the deposit penalty, he would still make more. Damn it, integrity in business? Forget that. I'm a businessman, I follow the money. Smiling at the phone, Jiang Chen said. All right, please wait. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Hanging up, Jiang Chen chuckled. He had just spent 1,000 shock value to exchange for a discount coupon in the system shop. Task-related 10% discount coupon. For instance, if tomorrow's piano performance was a hidden task, Jiang Chen could use this coupon for expenses related to this task. Meaning, this piano, originally priced at 500,000 yuan, would only cost him 50,000 yuan. Damn, as expected of the system, it's so thoughtful. Jiang Chen muttered. In no time, Zhang Jian arrived at the piano store with 3 strong men. Open the door, test the piano, swipe the card, load the piano. Only after placing the piano in Jiang Chen's living room did Zhang Jian finally relax. Mr. Jiang, congratulations on acquiring the Yamaha. He handed Jiang Chen a business card. After receiving it, Zhang Jian and his team left with smiles. Luckily my house is spacious, otherwise, it would be a hassle to fit the piano. Sitting in front of the piano, staring at the black and white keys, Jiang Chen's mind was filled with endless techniques and scores. His fingers lightly touched the keys, jumping with agility. After finishing a piece, he sighed deeply. Melodious and graceful, the notes dance like little sprites. Indeed, it's a skill gifted by the system. Selecting a piece was easy. Jiang Chen only needed to sift through his mind. As soon as he thought of a song title, its melody and emotional tone immediately appeared in his mind. Finally, a smile appeared on his lips as he chose a perfect piece. Damn, this will make Su Xianyo cry her heart out. Bond points will obediently fill my pocket? In the morning, a ray of sunshine streamed into the room. Jiang Chen finished getting ready and headed straight to the company. The R&D department was unusually lively today. He scanned his face, then headed straight to the top floor. Although yesterday's office situation was a bit awkward, last night Jiang Chen chatted with Su Zining via QQ. He gauged Su Zining's mood, and it seemed fine. He opened the door with a slight smile. "Wife, come here, morning hug." He moved directly to Su Zining's side. Su Zining, not feeling restrained, extended her arms and gave Jiang Chen a big hug. "I heard my little boyfriend is going to perform? Shall I have a sneak peek?" "Sneak peek? That won't do if the performance isn't good. What if the system doesn't give bond points?" Jiang Chen had a sudden idea, pointing to his dark circles and making a sad face. "Wife, do you see this? Dark circles. Why do I have dark circles? I stayed up all night preparing for the performance." Su Zining frowned slightly. "You're tired now? It's just a team-building activity, there's no need." She was concerned about Jiang Chen, worried about him staying up all night. But before she could finish, Jiang Chen put his finger to his lips. He made a shoe gesture and leaned closer to Su Zining, speaking gently. "Because I heard that my beautiful wife might show up. If I don't prepare well, how can I surprise you?" Hearing Jiang Chen's sweet and soothing voice, Su Zining was stunned. "So, Jiang Chen stayed up and got dark circles just to surprise me? How can he be so considerate?" With such anticipation, Su Zining was even more excited for Jiang Chen's performance. Her heart felt like a swarm of ants crawling, anxious and eager. She couldn't wait for noon to come and see it. Oh, and before that, she had to change into the JK uniform Jiang Chen liked. To give him another surprise, hee. She looked up and saw Jiang Chen already at the office door. "Wife, come on time." Su Zining smiled gently and nodded obediently. Voom. Back in the R&D department, Jiang Chen headed straight to his workstation. He turned on the computer and patted Xiao Lang's shoulder. "Xiao Lang, get ready." Xiao Lang was taken aback, staring at Jiang Chen's dark circles. "Bro Chen, your dark circles are quite severe." Jiang Chen waved his hand and complained. "Damn, don't mention it. I was up until 3 a.m. for the ranked matches. Those brain-dead teammates were like they had a stroke. I'd be better off letting my chicken peck at the keyboard." Xiao Lang gasped in amazement. As expected of Bro Chen. Team-building performance today, and a night of battling in the canyon. 10 o'clock a.m. Secretary Zhang arrived at Su Zining's office carrying 2 sets of JK uniforms. "Ms. Su, these 2 sets are from the custom-made store at Tianhe Square. There's a sky blue and a light blue, so I just bought both." Su Zining gestured for Secretary Zhang to place the uniforms on the desk. "Go report the expenses to the finance department." After Secretary Zhang left, Su Zining eagerly opened the 2 delicate boxes. The moment she saw the clothes inside, Su Zining was stunned. Why are they such small dresses? These uniforms are way too girlish. She had never worn such clothes before. No wonder Secretary Zhang was so dazed yesterday. This really isn't Su Zining's style. 10:30 a.m., the R&D department members gathered punctually at the hall of Reg Group's No. 1 restaurant. As a Fortune Global 500 company, Reg Group's restaurant was of the highest standard. It was no less than a 5-star hotel. Wang Hai, beaming with pride as if he were the one confirming the final plan, was running around, panting, and finally plopped down on a seat. "It's a pity it's indoors, otherwise, we would have set off firecrackers to celebrate." He sighed, but as soon as he turned around, Wang Hai perked up. He jumped to his feet and greeted with a smile. Because Jiang Chen and Xiao Lang had arrived. "Jiang Chen, the setup isn't finished yet. Why don't you sit and rest for a while?" Wang Hai's attitude was extremely good, which Jiang Chen found quite unsettling. What's this guy up to now? He waved his hand in refusal. "Don't worry about me, you continue with your work." Saying that, he led Xiao Lang to the farthest corner. Wang Hai scratched his head, puzzled. His attitude was so low-key. Why was Jiang Chen acting so indifferent? Still confused, Wang Hai noticed someone else approaching. He nearly stumbled and fell to the ground. Damn. This was a heavyweight figure. "Mr. Chen, what are you doing here?" Wang Hai used his usual tactic, moving in for the greeting. Oh no, moving in directly. Xian Shanming glanced at Wang Hai and said, I'm just strolling around. By the way, where's Jiang Chen? Wang Hai's heart sank. So, Mr. Qian, the boss of the company, came personally to find Jiang Chen? Wang Hai pointed to the corner, grinning. Young Master Jiang is over there. Shall I take you to him? Xian Shanming was taken aback. Young Master Jiang? He frowned, feeling confused. He had heard that Wang Hai and Jiang Chen had a falling out. Shouldn't they be at odds? Young Master Jiang. There seemed to be something fishy here. Otherwise, Wang Hai's change in attitude was hard to explain. But asking now seemed inappropriate. So, Xian Shanming smiled slightly and patted Wang Hai's shoulder. No need, Minister Wang. Continue with your work. After the team-building event, come to my office to talk? Wang Hai was stunned. Damn, did my efforts finally get noticed by the boss? He was so excited he almost jumped up, quickly nodding. Sure, Mr. Chen. I'll come by after the team building. Jiang Chen was reviewing the team battles from the morning with Xiao Lang. Then, Xian Shanming, like a big fly, floated over. Though it was annoying, basic courtesy had to be observed. Hello, Mr. Chen. Xiao Lang, who had his back to Qian Shanming, turned around upon hearing Jiang Chen. Seeing Qian Shanming's stern face, his hand shook, spilling the drink onto Qian Shanming's pants. Xiao Lang was about to cry. Mr. Qian, I didn't do it on purpose. Let me clean it up. Jiang Chen was shocked. Damn, good job, buddy. Qian Shanming had a dark look on his face as he wiped it himself. It's okay. I have something to discuss with Jiang Chen. Xiao Lang immediately understood. Mr. Qian means I should leave. Alright, I'm outta here. Jiang Chen gave Qian Shanming a slight smile. Mr. Qian, you didn't come here to tell me there's another issue with the plan, did you? Or is it that my outfit today is too casual? Qian Shanming gave an awkward smile. Recalling the previous incident, he was gnashing his teeth. He wished he could tear Jiang Chen apart. He had thought that Su Zining just mentioned an apology casually. But just now, when he went to submit the Finance Weekly report, Su Zining had scolded him severely. She questioned why he hadn't apologized to Jiang Chen yet. Thinking about Su Zining's cold tone, Xian Shanming was filled with dread. Young Jiang, actually, I'm here today. It's also to apologize for the previous incident. I was indeed abrupt. Please accept this. Xian Shanming took out a bank card from his pocket and handed it to Jiang Chen. This has 50,000 on it, as compensation and reward. Please accept it. Jiang Chen's lips curled up. Since when does a boss apologize and offer money? Well, I, Jiang Chen, am making history. Alright, Mr. Chen. No password, right? Is there really 50,000? Don't mess with me. Anyone who refuses money must be a fool. Whoever gives it, I'll take it. Xian Shanming was baffled, wondering if Jiang Chen doubted the 50,000 on the card. He was a vice president, could he really not come up with 50,000? But then he realized, Jiang Chen wasn't a fool. He was doing it intentionally to embarrass him. He gritted his teeth. I have things to do, so I'll leave. Qian Shanming made an excuse to leave, fearing that if he stayed longer, Jiang Chen might give him a headache. Anyway, Jiang Chen took the card and had an explanation for Su Zining. Jiang Chen fiddled with the card. Damn, it's great. Someone's reimbursed the piano money from last night. 11:30 a.m., the R&D department members gradually filled the room. The atmosphere began to heat up. Jiang Chen, what talent performance are you preparing? Honestly, just looking cool is a talent, right? You're right. Some women in our department are even touching up their makeup. They all have designs on Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen listened to the discussions, smiling and saying nothing. He glanced at Suihua and Xiaoling, who had arrived, and indeed, they looked much better than usual. 5 minutes later, as everyone arrived, Wang Hai stood up, tearfully giving a lengthy speech. Xiao Lang, sitting next to Jiang Chen, was almost unable to keep his eyes open. Some even started nodding off. Finally, Wang Hai finished his speech and raised an eyebrow at Jiang Chen. Now, let's have our department's R&D genius, Jiang Chen. show us your talent? Instantly, the listless crowd became energetic, their voices rising. Jiang Chen, it's your turn, go. Finally, Jiang Chen's performance, so excited. Damn, sister, hold me back. I'm gonna faint from Jiang Chen's profile. Jiang Chen had a black line on his forehead. He really wanted to say, brothers and sisters, not yet. Damn, Ms. Sue hasn't arrived yet, no way to perform. Otherwise, I'd be losing out. What's taking Sue so long? Shall we wait a bit longer? Play a small game or something? This suggestion was probably not going to be refused. Wang Hai smiled at everyone and slapped the table. Oh, our genius is shy. Come on, give him a push. Soon, the entire hall echoed with shouts of Jiang Chen, go for it. Jiang Chen was frozen. He really wanted to slap Wang Hai twice. Just as he was about to find an excuse to delay, Jiang Chen keenly noticed. The door to the hall was gently pushed open. The next moment, Jiang Chen was completely stunned. What the heck, who is this? From the outfit, it was clearly a sweet girl. But looking at her face, she looked exactly like my icy wife. Wait, does my wife have a twin sister? Damn, this is actually my wife, Su Zining, the icy female president of Leg Group. Jiang Chen suddenly remembered mentioning he liked JK uniforms yesterday, so, is Su Zining wearing this for me? Touching his nose, Jiang Chen felt a surge of happiness. Following Jiang Chen's gaze, Wang Hai also glanced over and was immediately shocked. Damn, comrades, we have a beautiful woman here. Beauty, come in and sit down. It's a department team building event, free meal. He only glanced quickly, not looking carefully. But he could still tell she was a beauty, and somewhat resembled Su Zining. The entire room went silent. No one dared to speak. Wang Hai frowned. What are all you single folks thinking? Hurry and invite the beauty in. No wonder you're all single, seize the opportunity. Wang Hai thought, if it weren't for the strict control of his wife at home, he would have gone up himself. As a result, everyone in the department looked at him with eager eyes, their eyes seemed to say. Minister Wang, we've kneeling for you. Wang Hai scratched his head and looked back carefully. He was thunderstruck. Is this really President Su? Am I still asleep or has the world gone crazy? Oh, it's President Su. Please come in quickly. Wang Hai's legs went weak as he approached with a forced smile. However, Su Zining's gaze was icy, completely ignoring him. She chose the best seat to watch Jiang Chen's performance. Everyone in the R&D department was stunned. They realized it was indeed President Su. But, they couldn't accept it. Damn, when did President Su ever wear such clothes? She's always in professional attire. After a full minute of silence, the longest minute ever, they finally composed themselves and greeted Su Zining. Jiang Chen shrugged helplessly, looking at these useless folks. Is Su Zining scaring you so much? Instantly, he turned to Su Zining with a beaming smile. Miss President Su, should I start? Su Zining nodded. Jiang Chen snapped his fingers, but there was no response. He glared fiercely at Xiaolang, who then snapped out of the shock. Hastily, Xiaolang pushed a piano out from the corner. At the moment Xiaolang met Jiang Chen's gaze, he looked innocent. Brother Chen, it's not my fault, I forgot, it's just your cousin's impact was too strong. President Su, it seems Jiang Chen plans to play the piano. Wang Hai, with his thick face, smiled and said. Su Zining coldly replied. I know it's a piano. Wang Hai, caught off guard. Jiang Chen gently touched the piano keys, and a melodious tune drifted through the hall. He turned to face the crowd, his voice deep and magnetic. Those who love but cannot have. Even thinking about it is foolish. As he finished speaking, Jiang Chen sat down at the piano. He had finalized the piece to be performed last night. It wasn't difficult, but the rhythm and progression were touching. Jiang Chen took a risk with this piece. It's too famous, everyone here should have heard it before. But Jiang Chen had been immersed in his own piano performance all night. He liked it, so he wanted to play it. Wedding in Dream. The piano music began, with a somber prelude but tight rhythms. Music has a soul, it intoxicates and immerses people. Jiang Chen's slender fingers glided over the keys, his profile clean and gentle. In the middle of the piece, the notes danced and emotions erupted.
In the finale, it seemed to shine with a light. Su Zining swallowed hard. She seemed to hear Jiang Chen's voice. Su Zining had naturally heard the original Wedding in Dream before. The entire piece conveyed a deep emotion, a kind of helplessness in worldly love and the yearning for a perfect love beyond mundane constraints. And Jiang Chen's notes were filled with hope and anticipation. Especially the final segment, which brought tears to the crowd's eyes. Throughout the performance, no one made a sound. Everyone was immersed in their own memories of unfulfilled love. They held their breath, fearing any slight sound would disrupt the melodious piano music. After playing the final note, Jiang Chen let out a long sigh. Fortunately, he didn't make any mistakes. He took a bow. "Thank you, everyone." Jiang Chen's words were like a fuse. At this moment, no one was shy about Su Zining's presence. At this moment, Su Zining, like everyone else, was lost in the piano music. Unfulfilled love, but the ending I hear is filled with hope? Class differences and emotional misalignment, these should not be the shackles of love. In a wedding in dream, for the person who is moved, having one grand dream is enough. The well-made-up women in the R&D department were moved to tears. Sentimental men fell silent, and even the usually laughing Xiao Lang bit his lip. Employees eating in the adjacent restaurant put down their chopsticks, thinking of their unfulfilled loves. The cafeteria uncle thought of a lifetime of regrets. Thoughts drifted to a rainy night when feelings pretended to be calm. That morning when sudden wakefulness wet the pillow and the air was filled with deep emotions. If there were truly a wedding in dream in the world, then they would not want to wake up, unwilling to wake up, and would even be willing to exchange everything. But Jiang Chen's piano music awakened them. It told them that ahead there is hope, light, and her. A wedding in dream, with a dream, why can't it become reality? Jiang Chen I. Su Zining's tears welled up in her eyes. Her feelings were the deepest. Those who love but cannot have, even thinking about it is foolish. She only felt a tingling on her scalp, her whole body trembling. For Jiang Chen, wasn't she once the one he loved but couldn't have? The disparity between employee and president, what's the difference from the princess warrior in the story? But Jiang Chen's notes, filled with hope and anticipation, told her. Jiang Chen would reach out to hold her hand. Break the worldly shackles and pursue the purest true love in the world. He would do it, he could do it. Su Zining raised her gaze, her red eyes meeting Jiang Chen as she wanted to cry. She didn't cry over a multi-million contract falling through or a major partner's breach of contract. But at this moment, she wanted to cry. President Su, is everything to your satisfaction? Jiang Chen noticed that Su Zining wanted to cry. His intention was to ease the atmosphere. My wife is so beautiful, with tears on her delicate face, seen by the R&D department? Is this what they get to see for free? Su Zining nodded tenderly and slowly stood up. Accustomed to wearing professional attire, she awkwardly wore the JK uniform. At this moment, she was like a princess, walking towards Jiang Chen under the gaze of the R&D department. She extended her pale arms and embraced Jiang Chen's waist. Just like Jiang Chen's firm style in the music, not wanting unfulfilled love. He wanted to have love, so he bravely confessed in the middle of the night. He wanted to break the worldly shackles, so he adapted Wedding in Dream today. Su Zining's thoughts were the same, firmly believing in Jiang Chen, with a heart full of anticipation, holding a fondness. At this moment, she desperately wanted to hug Jiang Chen. She didn't care what others might think. If she wanted to hug, she would. The sudden warmth in her arms was surprising. Jiang Chen was both helpless and comforted, and he gently said, "There are so many people watching, Ms. Su." Su Zining snorted, "So what? Let them watch. This is my company. I'll hug whoever I want." Jiang Chen sighed. Actually, he had always wanted to keep his relationship with Su Zining private. It could scare the others and might make people think he was relying on her for favors. He was relying on his talent, not on her. But at this stage, Jiang Chen wasn't sure how to explain things. How could he explain that the usually aloof Ms. Su was now hugging him? He had no idea how to explain this, no matter how many mouths he had. Glancing at his colleagues below, he saw their eyes wide open in shock. And Xiao Lang? He looked relieved and was giving Jiang Chen a meaningful glance. "Brother Chen, can I help explain? Damn, I really want to reveal your identity. I'm dying to say it." Jiang Chen's eyes lit up. "Damn, brother. You finally get it after eating so many walnuts."
Yes, Su Zining is my wife. Jiang Chen made a shoe gesture with his hand to indicate Xiao Lang to keep quiet. Xiao Lang's eyes lit up with understanding. Damn, Brother Chen is telling me. Bro, hurry up and tell them. I'm Ms. Su's cousin-in-law. Shock them, but keep it down so Ms. Su isn't disturbed. Xiao Lang took a deep breath and nodded vigorously. Things that Brother Chen told us, we must get them right. He quickly turned to the stunned colleagues and said softly, are you all confused? Why is Ms. Su hugging Jiang Chen? His colleagues gave puzzled looks. Damn, we are indeed confused. Don't you feel confused? They asked in unison. Could it be you know why? Xiao Lang smirked. I actually know the reason. I won't keep you in suspense. Brother Chen is Ms. Su's cousin-in-law. The crowd reacted with skepticism. Do you think we're playing house here? Isn't that a bit far-fetched? Even if it's just a random story, who would believe it? Wang Hai spoke up. I testify that it's true. The room fell silent. Even though Wang Hai was a bit of a clown, he was still the head of the R&D department and knew more than the employees. His words were like a calming anchor, settling in everyone's hearts. Xiao Lang sneered. Now do you understand? How well did Brother Chen play the piano? Isn't it great? Ms. Su is human too, she gets emotional, you know. Isn't hugging Brother Chen okay? They are family. The crowd suddenly understood, so that's how it is. Wife, the little meeting is over. Still not enough hugging? Jiang Chen grinned, his waist almost breaking from the pressure. This girl, despite being thin and weak, had such a strong grip. Su Zining pouted and let go. With a shy expression and lips slightly parted, she said, Jiang Chen, you have the afternoon off. Shall we go on a date? Jiang Chen smiled slightly and nodded. Sure. Su Zining playfully winked at him and lightly traced his waist with her right hand. I'll wait for you in the office. With that, Su Zining left the dining hall without looking back. She had just been thinking about how to explain things to the employees. The conclusion was, no explanation. Let them guess, Su Zining didn't care. She had more important things to do. Which was to quickly touch up her makeup while Jiang Chen was eating. Then have a sweet date with Jiang Chen in the afternoon. Sorry everyone, Miss Su just got a bit excited. Let's eat and play some games? Jiang Chen frowned slightly and explained casually. He wasn't sure if everyone believed it. After all, just a moment ago. Ahem. Suddenly, the entire hall erupted with cheers. Damn, Brother Chen, you actually got Ms. Su's cousin-in-law. Truly the model modern man. Jiang Chen, even though I'm sad I can't have you, I still wish you well. I also wish you well, Brother Chen, and hope you treat Ms. Su's cousin-in-law well. Jiang Chen was stunned. What's up with these people? And Xiao Lang, the troublemaker, came over with a raised eyebrow and a smile. Brother Chen, my friends, and I cleared up the explanation for you. No need to thank us. Jiang Chen was at a loss, touching his nose. So that's what Xiao Lang's look meant? But on second thought, it didn't make sense. Why would anyone believe Xiao Lang's ridiculous story about being Ms. Su's cousin-in-law? Does anyone actually believe this nonsense? Xiao Lang was taken aback. Wang Hai and others confirmed it. It's true. He must have heard it from Ms. Su. Jiang Chen? What the heck? How did Wang Hai know? Can someone give me a perfect explanation? The buzz about Ms. Su's cousin-in-law filled his ears. Jiang Chen was completely bewildered. Once there was just a silly Xiao Lang, now the whole place seemed foolish. Was his workplace a den of fools? But on second thought, being misunderstood like this wasn't without benefits. He sighed and gave up on explaining. At 2 o'clock, the team building event was over. After the colleagues left, Jiang Chen headed straight for Su Zining's office. Wife, let's go. Date time. Su Zining pouted and glanced at Jiang Chen with a look full of charm. Who said we're going on a date? Humph. Jiang Chen put on a pained expression. How could she change her mood so quickly? Well then, I'm going home to play games. Su Zining was startled. Ha! Jiang Chen. You. Idiot.
Seeing that Jiang Chen was really about to leave, Zining panicked.
This idiot didn't see how much effort I'd put into preparing for this? Come back. How should we go on a date? What should we do? Jiang Chen's lips curled into a smile when it came to handling Zining. He was a pro. Wife, what do you want to do? Zining shook her head. She had never been on a date and didn't even know what to do on one.
She had only seen the word date in Korean dramas.
Jiang Chen suggested, shopping and watching a movie? Or going to an amusement park?
Suddenly, Zining's lips curved into a smile. With a mischievous glance at Jiang Chen, she said, "Of course, it's up to my little boyfriend.
After all, with you and me, wherever we go, it's a date." Jiang Chen. Isn't that just sweet talk? I can do it too. Jiang Chen took a deep breath. That's a bit flirtatious. Then let's go to Tianhe Plaza and stroll around? I need to buy some seasonal clothes anyway. Zining was horrified. Shopping, no problem. Buying clothes, no problem. But going to Tianhe Plaza? That's her father Su Tianhe's property, his main activity spot. If her father saw them. But Zining didn't want to refuse Jiang Chen.
A new convenience store has opened at New Century.
Shall we go check it out?
Zining had a sudden idea and suggested.
Sure. Jiang Chen nodded. He wanted to go to Tianhe Plaza because of the discount card Su Tianhe had given him. But since Zining wanted to go to New Century, then it would be New Century. The 2,000 bond points for the morning had already been credited. If there was another hidden mission in the afternoon while shopping, another 2,000 points would mean he could exchange for a villa directly in the system mall tonight. Zining smiled slightly. That's great. That way, she could enjoy shopping with Jiang Chen without worrying about running into her father Tianhe Plaza, in a luxurious office. Su Tianhe was pacing back and forth, stroking his beard. He wanted to prepare a gift.
And then have Jiang Chen deliver it to his good son-in-law.
However, choosing what to give was really difficult. Because he didn't know the recipient well, giving something expensive might not be liked. Something meaningful might come off as too cheap. A knock on the door brought Su Tianhe back to reality. The secretary walked slowly into the office. Mr. Su, we can be ready to go at any time. Su Tianhe nodded. In half an hour, I'll take a break. Then we'll head out. The secretary respectfully left the office.
Su Tianhe sat down heavily in his chair and rubbed his temples.
Muttering to himself.
Forget it, I'll first go check the scale of the New Century convenience store.
See if there's anything worth learning. As for the gift, I'll think about it later. Among the many convenience stores in Jinghai City, Tianhe Plaza could definitely be considered the top. Even so, Su Tianhe remained vigilant.
Always keeping a learner's mindset recently, a new convenience store named New Century had suddenly risen.
Su Tianhe had already made arrangements with the New Century's owner to visit this afternoon. To see if there was anything worth learning. New Century.
Red ribbons fluttered at the entrance, lifted by the gentle breeze against the blue sky. A little boy stumbled behind his grandmother, happily holding a free cotton candy.
Various vendors didn't miss this high-foot traffic area, shouting loudly to make a living.
Shared bicycles were neatly arranged, and sanitation workers kept the ground clean at all times. As Jiang Chen and Zining got out of the car, they encountered a little girl holding a bouquet of flowers. She looked like a porcelain doll, very cute. She spoke in a sweet voice to Jiang Chen, "Big brother, since my sister is so pretty, you wouldn't refuse to buy her a bouquet, right?" Jiang Chen's lips curved into a smile as he bent down. He looked at the bouquet of roses in the little girl's hands and asked, "How much for one bouquet?" The little girl held the flowers with her left hand and extended one finger with her right. $10 a bouquet. Such a small gift, Jiang Chen naturally wouldn't refuse to prepare it for Zining. He picked the most vibrant bouquet. Just as he was about to take out his phone to pay, Zining pulled him back. Zining pouted and said, "I want this bouquet. I'll buy it. You buy another one." Jiang Chen was bewildered. "Damn, isn't this for you?" He shrugged helplessly and said to the little girl, "Since my sister is buying it herself, I won't buy it." Zining's lips curled into a smile as she paid. "My little boyfriend, don't you want to buy me flowers?"
Jiang Chen was resigned. I do want to. But, you just grabbed the best one. Brother, this bouquet is nice too, take this one.
After all, the meaning of a bouquet bought by a sister for herself and one bought by a brother for a sister is different.
The little girl said obediently. Jiang Chen looked at it. Although it wasn't as vibrant as the one Su Zining grabbed, it was still acceptable. Okay. He paid, and the little girl hopped away.
Jiang Chen rolled his eyes at Su Zining and handed over the bouquet he had picked.
Here, it's for you. Su Zining accepted it without hesitation and said gently. Thank you, my little boyfriend. This bouquet is for you.
Su Zining took Jiang Chen's hand and handed him the more vibrant and beautiful bouquet she had snatched.
Then she whispered. I was just thinking, love is a two-way thing. Why is the public definition that boys give flowers to girls? So I bought this bouquet for you, Jiang Chen.
Jiang Chen was stunned for a moment, then realized. Su Zining grabbing the most vibrant bouquet wasn't to snatch it but to give him the most beautiful flower. And for herself, she chose one that wasn't as bright. She didn't want the best for herself but wanted to give it to him.
This silly girl. Shall we hold hands? Jiang Chen didn't answer but extended his right hand.
At this moment, Su Zining was smiling.
Why did Jiang Chen seem a little embarrassed outside? In any case, he wasn't aggressive like in the office. Let's hold hands. Their fingers intertwined as they walked into the building side by side.
Su Zining was still in her JK uniform, her long hair flowing like a waterfall. Her exquisite makeup and peach blossom eyes occasionally playfully glanced at Jiang Chen.
Jiang Chen, as always, was impressively handsome.
The perfect height difference between them attracted countless gazes. A young couple who had just finished shopping saw Jiang Chen and Su Zining. They exchanged looks, their faces showing expressions of disgust.
Did you see that? Damn, those long legs, that's the standard girlfriend.
Bastard, you're staring straight, but that guy is also handsome, just like the boyfriend in my dreams.
As for the rest, you know how it goes. At the cold drink shop they entered, Jiang Chen ordered 2 sundaes. Su Zining frowned slightly, glancing at the couple holding hands in the mall. She asked Jiang Chen.
Why do those guys wear hair ties?
They don't need to tie their hair. Jiang Chen smiled gently, leaning in to explain in Su Zining's ear. It's not their choice. It's forced by their girlfriends.
Wearing a hair tie means they're taken, so they won't be harassed by other girls.
Su Zining's eyes lit up. Indeed. It's a good idea.
Especially for someone like Jiang Chen, just walking this short distance.
One could count how many women had secretly glanced at him. If I wasn't with him, wouldn't they ask for his WeChat? No way. So, do you want to give me one too?
Jiang Chen handed Su Zining her sundae with a teasing smile. No. Su Zining took a small bite of her ice cream and shook her head. She did want to give Jiang Chen a hair tie, but since everyone was wearing them,
it wouldn't be unique. Su Zining fell into deep thought. Right. This thing seems like it could be worn on the wrist too. What Su Zining said next almost made Jiang Chen choke on his ice cream. Jiang Chen, how about I give you a shoulder strap? Jiang Chen was stunned and suddenly stopped in his tracks. A guy who was engrossed in playing on his phone almost bumped into Jiang Chen's back. Jiang Chen quickly turned and said with an apologetic face, "Sorry." The guy waved his hand dismissively, indicating it was no problem.
Jiang Chen awkwardly smiled, touched his nose, and looked at Su Zining with a teasing expression.
"Darling, are you sure? What's a shoulder strap?" After some thought, Jiang Chen could only think of one possibility. A strap taken from a girl's clothing. Could anything else be called a shoulder strap? Can it be tied on the wrist? If you don't want it, it's not a big deal if we don't use it.
Su Zining's face flushed slightly. She had suddenly thought of using a shoulder strap. Indeed, no other woman gives a shoulder strap to her boyfriend. So she just said it outright. But now, thinking about it carefully, it's quite a hassle. The shoulder strap would naturally need to be taken from a piece of clothing. What's the point of using a new one? And using one she's worn? Yuck, no way. Also, what about the color and style? It's all very troublesome. The quickest solution is to let Jiang Chen choose himself. But is that possible? Su Zining could responsibly say in her heart, "No way. I didn't say I don't want it.
When can it be taken off for me? Let's go for a 7-color ribbon, okay? Jiang Chen grinned. This is a good thing. If it happened to Jesus, he'd probably still smile and stand up. Another reason Jiang Chen was excited was the system's passive skill. Receiving a gift from a partner earns 1,000 bond points per instance. Zining chuckled, casting a playful glance at Jiang Chen. The little woman's charm was at its peak. Hey, Jiang Chen, a 7-color ribbon? You really thought of that? Oomph, let's go pick out some clothes for you first. I'll think more about the shoulder strap. Zining gave a playful smile and walked towards the Prada counter. Jiang Chen took a deep breath. It seemed like Zining buying clothes for him could also count towards bond points. Darling, I need pants, jackets, shirts. In short, anything you wear, I need. Just buy me a full set? Oh, and socks and underpants too. Jiang Chen laughed, calculating everything he could think of. If Zining bought everything, it would add up to 10,000 bond points. At the entrance stood a stylish and enthusiastic saleswoman. As a Prada salesperson, she always remembered the brand's classic slogan. Come in if you like, leave if you don't. But seeing Jiang Chen and Zining's stunning looks, she felt envious. Such a perfect couple, right? For customers like these, if they don't like Prada, I'd kneel down and beg them to come in. Sir, miss, the new Century Plaza has just opened. The discounts today are at a freezing point, very cost-effective. Shall I show you around? Jiang Chen smiled and nodded. Thank you. The store was decorated luxuriously, showcasing Prada's top-tier style. Everything was neatly arranged, and each piece of clothing had a unique design. Zining couldn't help but mumble. I wish the level of Lige's clothing could reach this standard. Probably, if others in the R&D department had half of my little boyfriend's ability, there might be hope. Zining frowned, a professional habit. She was serious about picking out flaws. This dress's neckline is ugly and doesn't suit you. This shoulder width is a bit awkward, don't want it. This one is too mature, suitable for my dad. After passing on one piece of clothing after another, Zining saw a burgundy casual jacket. She stared at it for a while, then nodded in satisfaction. This one is pretty good, the pattern is lively. Try it on? Jiang Chen nodded. He had also thought this piece looked good when he first entered. Okay. The saleswoman approached, found the right size, and led Jiang Chen to the fitting room. In the store's lobby, a mocking voice suddenly rang out. Hubby, look at how embarrassing they are, picking out clothes for so long. Finding faults with all kinds of clothes, and in the end, choosing the cheapest one. Zining frowned slightly, glancing sideways. It was a pair of trendy little couples talking. The guy seemed like a rich second generation. She quickly looked away, ignoring them. It's just clothes. Jiang Chen likes it, and that's what really matters. Take me to see the men's formal wear. The saleswoman nodded. Okay, miss. This way, please. Coincidentally, the area for formal wear was exactly where that trendy couple was. New Century Plaza's main entrance. A Rolls-Royce slowly came to a stop, and Su Tianhe stepped out of the car. Immediately, a man in a suit came up to greet him. Brother Su, still as spirited as ever. Su Tianhe glanced at the man in the suit. His name was Zhang Yi, the founder of New Century Plaza. Now in his early 30s, he had started with investments, definitely having business acumen. Su Tianhe laughed heartily. Brother Zhang's condition seems to be a bit off compared to before. Zhang Yi sighed, who doesn't have worries in this world? Brother Su, come to my office first. There are indeed some difficulties with the new opening that I need to consult with you. Su Tianhe responded with satisfaction and told the secretary to wait in the car. He followed Zhang Yi into New Century Plaza. As the saying goes, to judge the strength of a convenience store, first look at the first impression. In the case of the New Century, the first floor was filled with globally renowned luxury brands. A symbol of strength. After a quick glance, Su Tianhe's gaze was fixed on the Prada store's sign. Low-key luxury with depth, style fully on display. He decided to visit Prada after finishing his chat with Zhang Yi. If Su Tianhe took a closer look inside the store, he would be directly shocked. Because he would find the figure of his precious daughter, Zining. Meanwhile, inside the store, Jiang Chen had already changed into the new outfit. He walked straight to Su Zining's side. Jiang Chen waved his hand and looked at himself in the mirror. He had expected to look very handsome. But now, it seemed he was mistaken. This wasn't just handsome, it was stunningly handsome. How is it? Su Zining's eyes brightened as she nodded obediently. You look even better in it. Even the saleswoman was enchanted. If it weren't for her limited authority, she would have applied to become the spokesperson for Prada. Sir, it looks especially good. Jiang Chen nodded, leaning towards Su Zining, and pointed at the price tag. Let's see if the price is acceptable. Su Zining pouted. In this world, there are two things she doesn't tolerate questioning. First is looks. Second is financial power. She smiled gracefully. Silly, as long as you like it. Jiang Chen took a deep breath. Although he was worried that others might mistake him for a kept man, he didn't want to be one. If he wanted to make money, Jiang Chen could make a fortune by stock trading or lottery with his past life's memories. Or at worst, exchange it in the system mall. There's no way he'd be deterred by a tag price of 28,888 for a piece of clothing. But it must be said, gifts from his wife are indeed different from ones he buys himself. It's really satisfying. Suddenly, an out-of-place voice interrupted. No wonder it's the cheapest Prada clothing, the threads aren't even finished properly. Following the source of the sound, Jiang Chen frowned. The speaker was a man dressed entirely in trendy brands. The clothes looked somewhat stylish, but Jiang Chen was puzzled when he saw his face. Damn, dude, dyeing your hair is one thing. There are so many colors to choose from: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And you went with green? I don't know what he was thinking. Indeed, there were a few loose threads on the clothing, which Jiang Chen had noticed while trying it on. Jiang Chen was a bit puzzled too, but seeing the price tag, he relaxed. This top was a handmade piece from Prada. And as an internationally renowned brand, wouldn't its clothes undergo multiple inspections before leaving the factory? Clearly, that's not possible. If you looked closely at those few loose threads, you could strangely appreciate a certain beauty. Jiang Chen worked in design, and especially with handmade clothes, there's a certain nuance. Deliberately leaving a few threads is meant to showcase the simplicity of the handmade process and the overall perfection. Shrugging helplessly, he couldn't be bothered to explain this to the ignorant green-haired guy. He turned to Su Zining and shared a smile. The saleswoman, as a sales employee, naturally understood the significance of the few loose threads. She smiled with a hidden edge and said to the man, "Sir, if you continue to disparage our store's brand, I have the right to ask you to leave." The man's gaze turned cold. A mere sales assistant dared to talk to him like this? But then, a wicked thought arose in his mind. I, Tang Yuan, am shopping here as a VIP. You have no right to kick me out, right? It's normal for me to express my opinions in your store. You also don't have the right to make me shut up. However, if you agree to sell that suit to me at a 20% discount, I'll leave immediately. How about it? Tang Yuan's lips curled into a slight smile. Otherwise, I'll just stay here, commenting on everything that comes in. Let's see who else buys from your store. Tang Yuan wasn't afraid of them causing trouble for him in a small store. As for Prada taking action against him, Tang Yuan didn't even consider it. Because they were too lazy to deal with him. This might be what's called a small person becoming arrogant? Sir, during the promotion period, indeed, the entire store is 20% off. But we clearly stated that it does not include the limited edition custom suit. Please behave yourself. The saleswoman coldly refused. Her eyes were full of contempt for Tang Yuan. He had been lingering here for over an hour. He wanted to buy the limited edition custom suit at a discount, and if not, he wouldn't leave, continuously making annoying comments, which was quite bothersome. Jiang Chen rolled his eyes. This guy was not only ignorant but also had a thick skin. If the saleswoman could sell it at a discount, she would have done so already. Who doesn't want good sales? But the sign clearly says, not including limited edition items. If the saleswoman sold it at a discount, there would only be two outcomes. She would have to cover the difference herself. She would get a scolding from the boss. Such unreasonable behavior is actually not uncommon in stores. Jiang Chen only muttered a few complaints in his mind and had no intention of getting involved. It was Prada's and Tang Yuan's business, not his. But Jiang Chen noticed that Su Zining's expression changed from frowning to surprise, and then to excitement. Limited edition custom suit? While Jiang Chen was trying on clothes, Su Zining had taken a quick look at the suits. None of them were particularly eye-catching. But a limited edition custom suit. It shouldn't be bad, right?
Yes, miss, our brand has launched an anniversary custom suit as a token of appreciation for our customers.
I'll find the concept drawing for you. The saleswoman, hearing Su Zining's voice, felt relieved.
Finally, she had a reason to dismiss the unreasonable Tang Yuan. Returning with the drawing in hand.
Please take a look at the general style.
Su Zining took the drawing, and her eyes brightened. She pulled Jiang Chen's arm and sat on a nearby sofa. Jiang Chen, look, this style is really nice. It has a mature yet youthful feel, and it's steady but not heavy.
Jiang Chen nodded slightly. Indeed, but isn't the price a bit high? Jiang Chen glanced sneakily at the price. Close to 600,000.
It looks good, but it's a bit too expensive for just one piece of clothing.
Su Zining turned to ask. How long for this custom order?
The saleswoman quickly smiled and explained. Miss, after paying the deposit, our staff will come to take your measurements tomorrow. Although it's a custom piece, due to its limited edition, it will only take about a week to receive.
For a custom item, that's quite fast.
Su Zining lightly bit her lower lip and looked playfully at Jiang Chen.
Do you like it?
Seeing Jiang Chen about to shake his head, Su Zining quickly changed her tone.
All right, I understand. With that, Su Zining turned her head away.
Jiang Chen's expression clearly showed he was hesitant due to the price, but Su Zining clearly felt that Jiang Chen liked it.
Only 600,000? For making my boyfriend happy. What a great deal.
My Su Zining's husband deserves all the best.
He should have everything others have and even what others don't have. Humph. Charge it. Su Zining pulled out a bank card from her purse. The saleswoman was momentarily stunned. Miss, would you like to reconsider? The deposit is non-refundable once paid. Su Zining waved her hand and smiled slightly. No need, just swipe it.
Pay the full amount, it's just 600,000.
The saleswoman's face was filled with surprise, and she couldn't help but glance at Tang Yuan as she left. Look at them. Jiang Chen's mouth curled into a broad grin. Just 600,000. Jiang Chen, leave an address later. Remember to get measured tomorrow.
Don't complain about the hassle, I think this suit really suits you.
Su Zining pouted.
She had never had a concept of money, she thought it was just a string of numbers. Even when spending money on herself, she never felt any emotional fluctuation. But today, she felt for the first time.
Spending money can be so gratifying. Maybe it's because this money is being spent on Jiang Chen? Su Zining thought that might be the reason. Ha! This scene left Tang Yuan beside them dumbfounded. Damn, she bought it? That was the suit I had my eye on. Full payment? This woman is actually so rich? I spent a month negotiating with my dad and only got 40,000. And this guy not only looks better than me, but he also got the suit?
His pride was severely hurt and his face twisted.
He sneered. Heh, so you're just a kept man, huh? As soon as the words left his mouth, the man felt a chill. He looked up and found Su Zining staring at him with a cold gaze. Previously, this man
had criticized Su Zining for picking the cheapest clothes for Jiang Chen and said her fashion sense was tacky.
Since it was directed at Su Zining herself, she chose to ignore it. Su Zining's heart was immune to slander. But when it came to Jiang Chen, Su Zining couldn't tolerate it. She could endure insults herself, but why target Jiang Chen? My Su Zining's boyfriend, how dare you slander him? Apologize. Tang Yuan sneered and glanced at Su Zining. Apologize? The word apologize doesn't even exist in my dictionary. Just because you have money, you think you're so impressive? Do you really think I can't come up with a few 100,000? You're so beautiful, but your money might not be clean, right? Tang Yuan wasn't an idiot.
From Su Zining's manner and demeanor, it was easy to tell she was a rich young lady. But his pride had been severely hurt, and he couldn't help but say these words. Su Zining furrowed her brows and was about to speak when she felt a tug on her arm. Immediately, Jiang Chen's gentle voice resonated in her ear.
Stand behind your husband.
Su Zining was momentarily stunned, but Jiang Chen had already moved in front of her instantly. A strange sense of security filled her heart.
Ding, detected that Tang Yuan is slandering your partner, triggering hidden task. Vent for your partner, reward 2,000 bond points. This was Jiang Chen's first task with 2,000 points. But Jiang Chen's face darkened, and he wasn't smiling at all. Jiang Chen, can you just shut up? Jiang Chen, is this the time for you to issue a task? System, sweat gif. Host, don't be angry, I'll keep quiet. Damn, you're walking straight into the firing line? Jiang Chen cursed inwardly. Getting revenge for Su Zining was no longer a matter of choosing for 2,000 bond points. It was something he had to do. Su Zining had never faced any grievances at home or work. Now she was out shopping with me, and this green-haired monster is pointing at her? Even when hitting a dog, you should recognize its owner. You don't even consider whose wife this is? Tang Yuan, I actually heard about you a long time ago. Tang Yuan was momentarily stunned when Jiang Chen suddenly stepped forward. What's this about? Suppressing a laugh. So? Jiang Chen's lips curled into a slight smile. I recently heard from a friend in the hospital. He said there's a young master with the surname Tang in Jinghai, who is both handsome and trendy. But he has some health issues and might not be able to carry on his family's line. Tang Yuan's face changed drastically. What are you talking about? Jiang Chen waved his hand, smiling with a hidden edge. Actually, your reaction is enough to admit it, isn't it? I didn't say it was you, why are you reacting so strongly? I'll tell you another thing, also from a doctor friend. Ah, your girlfriend. Jiang Chen deliberately paused suddenly. The woman beside Tang Yuan was stunned and glared at Jiang Chen. What do you mean? At this point, Tang Yuan was already numb. What Jiang Chen said was indeed true, he was sick. Moreover, he had actually gone to the hospital for a checkup recently. And his girlfriend had indeed been vomiting a lot lately. An idea rose endlessly in his mind. Jiang Chen continued. After all, he's Tang Long's son, so being arrogant is normal. Your birthday is next Tuesday. Aren't you going to deal with this green hat? Tang Yuan swallowed hard. Jiang Chen knew his father was Tang Long? And also knew his birthday was next Tuesday? How could Jiang Chen collect so many clues in such a short time? He couldn't help but shiver. This man was definitely not ordinary. Realizing this, he was deeply convinced of Jiang Chen's capabilities. Turning to lock eyes with the woman beside him, Tang Yuan felt his blood pressure surge, and he slapped the woman's face. Cheap woman, how dare you cheat on me? The loud shout attracted the attention of other customers in the store. Tang Yuan, feeling embarrassed, dragged the woman out by her hair. Jiang Chen sighed deeply, a playful smile on his face. Ah, this kid is so hasty, I haven't even finished speaking. I mentioned that your girlfriend has been suffering from a stomach issue recently, causing severe nausea and vomiting. I told you to deal with the green hat, and yet you beat her up just because it's unattractive? Scumbag, pfft. Ding, congratulations to the host for venting for your partner, gaining bond points, 2,000. Jiang Chen, understanding system, glad you're happy, does this skill satisfy you? Jiang Chen, it's okay, but only being able to check one person's report a day is a bit useless. System, will upgrade later. Please GIF. That's right, the system had just intruded and got a scolding from Jiang Chen. The system was so scared it sent a perfect health check skill. Using it on one person, you can understand their physical condition. Jiang Chen originally intended to scold Tang Yuan severely, but it seemed too pointless. So he decided to give Tang Yuan a health check instead. Not knowing was one thing, seeing it was shocking. The kid really had a serious illness. Hence, the earlier scene occurred. Rubbing his temples, he gently patted Su Zining's shoulder. Wife, what are you thinking? That ignorant green-haired guy is gone. Su Zining's eyes sparkled as she embraced Jiang Chen, pouting. Although she usually seemed cold and indifferent to gossip. In the end, she was a person with feelings, and being slandered could still hurt. In the past, she faced everything alone. Either ignored or brushed off, she thought that staying busy could make her forget all troubles and unhappiness. Today, she wanted to vent for Jiang Chen, but Jiang Chen's actions made her feel loved once again. A sense of security, the solid feeling of being carefully protected in the palm of his hand. The sense of security Jiang Chen mentioned during his confession, he truly provided it. How did you know Tang Yuan had that illness? Jiang Chen chuckled. He's already wearing the green hat, your husband can read faces. With a discerning eye, he must have a serious illness. Su Zining was taken aback and asked urgently. Can you also tell that his girlfriend is pregnant?
Jiang Chen quickly shook his head, looking aggrieved. I just mentioned his girlfriend, I never said she was pregnant.
Su Zining thought about it carefully and seemed to actually be true. Then she couldn't help but laugh. You're so naughty.
Despite the teasing tone, Su Zining had already memorized the names Tang Yuan and Tang Long.
Just then, the saleswoman brought over the registration form.
This limited edition custom suit is the only slot available in Jinghai.
Mr. You're truly fortunate. Jiang Chen smiled faintly and wrote down his contact information and address. It's just that my wife loves me.
The saleswoman smiled, glancing at Su Zining. Feeling shy, she kept murmuring in her heart.
So shy. Jiang Chen really? Always speaking so bluntly. He.
Having bought the limited edition piece, there was no more shopping to do at Prada. The two of them linked arms and walked out of the store.
My little boyfriend, let's continue shopping for clothes. Jiang Chen's eyes lit up. His wife's awareness was simply wonderful. Sure thing, dear.
Suddenly, Jiang Chen's phone rang. He frowned slightly.
On a Friday afternoon, who was calling him? Could Xiao Lang be calling about a game? That shouldn't be, he should be with Secretary Zhang, right?
When he saw the caller ID, Jiang Chen's heart sank.
This was the call he least wanted to see. The impact was so great that Jiang Chen couldn't refuse. But he couldn't not answer.
Swallowing hard, Jiang Chen made a shoe gesture to Su Zining.
Wife, be quiet. Otherwise, I might be in big trouble. Su Zining frowned slightly, feeling a bit of amazement. Yes, amazement. In this world, there is actually someone who can make Jiang Chen so scared?
She couldn't help but perk up her ears and stand on tiptoe.
She wanted to hear who this person was. Jiang Chen took a deep breath and answered the call.
Mom, you called suddenly.
What's up? Su Zining was stunned. Mom? So, is this my future mother-in-law calling?
As expected of someone who could be a CEO, Su Zining's mind was instantly filled with 100 questions.
Since it was an aunt's call, why did Jiang Chen look so reluctant to answer it just now? Was the aunt's impact that big? Does that mean the aunt is hard to get along with? Will the aunt dislike me in the future?
Su Zining blushed at her own thoughts and wanted to hum an annoyance. But realizing she couldn't make a sound right now, she quickly covered her mouth with her hand.
On the other end of the line came a dignified female voice. No special instructions.
I just woke up from a beauty sleep and suddenly remembered I have a son. I'm waiting for my friends to come over to play mahjong, so I thought I'd give you a call.
Jiang Chen sighed deeply, a faint smile on his lips. Playing mahjong is fine, but have you forgotten anything?
He said this intentionally, and as for the reason. This brings us back to Jiang Chen's high school days. Just before the winter break of his senior year, the school suddenly closed and postponed the holiday by a week.
Since it was a boarding school, most students called their parents to send money.
Jiang Chen was no exception. He called Yang Li, his mother, to ask for money.
Yang Li promised to send the money the next day. However, until the fourth day, Jiang Chen still hadn't received the money.
It wasn't until the holiday that he learned Yang Li had meant to send him money the next day. But she was called by her friends to play mahjong and completely forgot about her son's financial needs. Jiang Chen still remembered how he had to eat steamed buns and pickled vegetables for 3 days in the cafeteria.
Seeing Jiang Chen bring up old memories, Yang Li quickly changed the topic. Oh my dear, let's not talk about the past. I want to tell you something important. Do you remember Uncle Wang downstairs?
His daughter came home yesterday.
Oh, she's a beautiful young lady. Shall I help you set something up? Jiang Chen frowned deeply. He knew it.
His mom calling must be related to pressuring him to find a girlfriend.
Reject the matchmaking arrangement. Besides, I'm not unable to find someone. Mom, are you so eager to have a grandchild?
On the other end of the line, Yang Li sighed deeply and scolded.
Son, do you know why I gave birth to someone as handsome as you? Jiang Chen rolled his eyes and sighed deeply. Because you want me to attract young girls and find a wife early. And then you get to have a grandchild soon, right?
He had long memorized the answer to this question.
Yang Li nodded in satisfaction and said cheerfully. Yes, why aren't you taking action if you remember? You're almost 25.
If you don't bring home a daughter-in-law this year, I'll dig out all the 100 love letters you received in high school, find the names and phone numbers of the girls. I'll ask each one if they want you, and I'll even mail them to her home. Jiang Chen felt like he might vomit blood. He was only 24. There might be few people in the world as eager for a grandchild as his mom. Su Tianhe, ahem, count me in. Jiang Chen was completely focused on the battle with his mom and didn't notice. Su Zining was blushing with excitement. His mom was urging him to get married. Because she had secretly eavesdropped, Su Zining could vaguely hear Yang Li's voice. So, she naturally also heard. Finding the love letters, picking the best. A sly smile appeared on her lips. So Jiang Chen was the type who was liked by girls from a young age. Well, of course, my little boyfriend is so handsome. Receiving love letters is no surprise. You underestimated me. Ive brought all those love letters to Jinghai. That's why you can't do this. When it comes to nagging, Yang Li is definitely the best. But when it comes to intelligence, Jiang Chen is unbeatable. When Jiang Chen moved to Jinghai, he anticipated that Yang Li would one day threaten him like this. So he took all the letters. My son is so clever. Yang Li frowned slightly. My son's move is so brilliant. She genuinely didn't know how to threaten Jiang Chen now. Su Zining, on the other hand, was thrilled. Jiang Chen had brought the love letters from his youth? This is amazing. In the end, Su Zining wanted to see those letters. Through those letters, she could learn a lot about Jiang Chen's past. While continuing to eavesdrop, Su Zining playfully pondered in her heart. Her gaze wandered, and she couldn't think of any good way to get those letters from Jiang Chen's hands. She pouted and turned her head away coquettishly. But just as she turned her head, she saw two men in formal attire approaching. They were around their 30s or 40s. Looking closely, Su Zining recognized the face of the older man. Ah! Su Zining was startled and shouted out loud. Dad? Why isn't he at our own plaza and is here at New Century? Indeed, the visitors were Su Tianhe and Jiang Yi. Su Tianhe had long planned to visit the Prada store, and by chance, Jiang Chen and Su Zining were standing right at the store entrance. If they didn't run into each other, that would be strange. Su Zining's sudden shout left Jiang Chen stunned. Desperately signaling to Su Zining. Wife, what are you doing? Didn't I tell you not to make any noise? Your shout is even worse than speaking. At this moment, Jiang Chen felt as if he could see his mom's amused face on the other end of the line. Su Zining and Jiang Chen locked eyes, her brain buzzing. Did I just make a sound? It's all Dad's fault. Isn't he intentionally scaring people? Jiang Chen, I really didn't mean to make a sound. Su Zining pouted and sneakily glanced at Su Tianhe. They were getting closer, only a few hundred meters away. Su Zining frowned. She never waits passively. Now, should she pull Jiang Chen to run? No, Jiang Chen was on the phone and couldn't run. And if she accidentally makes a sound again, Jiang Chen would be in even more trouble. She must not let Dad see, or he would definitely make things difficult for Jiang Chen. After thinking it over, Su Zining decided she would run by herself. Su Zining gave Jiang Chen a look, then turned and walked in the opposite direction. Jiang Chen, still on the phone, was completely confused. What is going on? Before he could think, Zhang Li's voice came from the phone again. My dear son, you're so amazing. That voice, the young lady must be quite beautiful? I didn't expect that while I'm driving to find you a wife, my son is already on the fast track. Jiang Chen's forehead was covered with black lines. He couldn't admit it, otherwise his mom, Yang Li, would probably show up tomorrow and start asking around in Jiang Chen's friend circle to find out whose voice it was. Once she found Su Zining, she'd drag both of them to the Civil Affairs Bureau. His mom was definitely the type to do that. Don't talk nonsense. I'm outside, and just now a girl fell. Don't try to pin everything on me. Yang Li frowned. It was indeed a possibility. But she had a feeling that the voice was definitely from Jiang Chen's side. Could it be that a girl fell on my son? Is there really no girl around you? Jiang Chen's lips curved into a slight smile. It seemed his storytelling skills were quite good. He quickly seized the opportunity. Of course not. Jinghai is known for its high prices. I just started working. What girl would want to be with me? Yang Li thought about it and agreed. Although her son was handsome, nowadays, girls were quite practical.
Alright then, pay more attention to finding a partner. Don't always wait for me to urge you. Okay, your answer here, and I'm getting ready to play mahjong. Jiang Chen smiled sincerely. His aunts were truly his saviors. When the new year came, he'd give each of them a big red envelope. Okay, Mom. Yang Li, far away in Shangjiang City, was startled. Something was off. There was something suspicious. Her son's reaction was too abnormal. But everything could be explained. Yet Yang Li wasn't so easily fooled. She saved the call record and planned to listen to it again after finishing the mahjong game. Alright, dear, I'm hanging up. Take care of yourself. Jiang Chen felt a sense of relief at those words. Thankfully. He quickly hung up the phone. Just then, a message from Su Zining popped up on WeChat. Su Shanyo, Jiang Chen, I suddenly had a stomachache and went to the bathroom. I'm okay now. I'm in the car, so come find me after you're done with your call. I'm hungry and want to grab a bite. Jiang Chen smiled in relief. He was wondering why Su Zining suddenly ran off. It turned out to be a stomachache, probably from eating ice cream. Since she was hungry, he decided to take Su Shanyo out for a meal. Jiang Chen rubbed his temples and had just taken a step when a familiar voice came from behind. Jiang, my old friend? Oh, what a coincidence. Jiang Chen turned around, puzzled, and saw Su Tianhe. He smiled slightly. Oh, it's brother Su. Su Tianhe walked up quickly. This was his son-in-law's good buddy. He politely shook hands with Jiang Chen and pointed to Zhang Yi. This is Zhang Yi, the chairman of New Century Plaza. Jiang Chen extended his hand and greeted Zhang Yi politely. Hello, brother Zhang. Zhang Yi didn't know Jiang Chen, but given Su Tianhe's excellent attitude towards Jiang Chen, he was welcoming. Su Tianhe grinned broadly and patted Jiang Chen on the shoulder. Did my old friend just go shopping at Prada? Alone? Su Tianhe had noticed the Prada shopping bag in Jiang Chen's hand. Jiang Chen didn't avoid it. Yes, bought a piece of clothing. My girlfriend came along. Su Tianhe subconsciously glanced at the shopping bag inside. Because he was very sensitive to numbers, he immediately noticed a string of numbers. Payment card number, 6302. 0118. He couldn't help but feel a bit familiar. Zhang Yi, being a savvy person, handed Jiang Chen a business card. A gesture of wanting to make friends. Jiang, here's my card, it's useful at New Century. Jiang Chen sighed with relief. Wow, these business mobiles are so direct with their business cards. This means discounts at New Century in the future. Great. Thank you, brother Zhang. After chatting for a bit, Jiang Chen said goodbye to Su Tianhe. After all, Su Zining had just mentioned feeling unwell. Jiang Chen was a bit worried. And he was hungry too, damn it. He hadn't eaten anything during the lunch team building activity. Watching Jiang Chen slowly walk away, Zhang Yi and Su Tianhe exchanged glances and nodded. Mature and steady, this young man has a bright future. Smiling, they walked into the Prada boutique, taking a quick tour. Su Tianhe nodded in satisfaction. The saleswoman, seeing Zhang Yi, the top executive, was very respectful. She had witnessed the conversation between Su Tianhe, Zhang Yi, and Jiang Chen at the door. And thinking about Jiang Chen's impressive moment of persuading Tang Yuan in the store, she couldn't help but mutter, indeed, big shots all know each other. Her voice was very soft, but it was still heard by Su Tianhe. Oh? What do you mean by that? Su Tianhe asked. The saleswoman, startled by Su Tianhe's direct question, quickly explained. I mean the man you and Chairman Zhang were talking to. He's exceptionally outstanding. She recounted what had happened in the store. Su Tianhe and Zhang Yi both showed admiration. The younger generation is pushing forward. Zhang Yi playfully asked. What did Jiang buy? Did he get the lowest discount? The saleswoman smiled slightly. He bought a casual top and a suit. The top was at the lowest discount because Mr. Jiang looked especially good in it. And the suit is a limited edition, so I couldn't offer a discount. Zhang Yi was surprised and asked excitedly. The one worth nearly 600,000? The saleswoman nodded. Yes, Chairman Zhang. Su Tianhe was stunned. 600,000. This young man really had substantial financial power.
It was a gift from Mr. Jiang's girlfriend. Su Tianhe was stunned. Wow, his girlfriend can directly spend 600,000. How rich must Jiang Chen be? Suddenly, Su Tianhe gasped. Jinghai wasn't lacking wealthy people, but few were willing to shop in person. For Jiang Chen to find something he liked and spend 600,000 at once. That definitely meant his girlfriend was a wealthy young lady. Is she exceptionally beautiful? Su Tianhe tentatively asked. The saleswoman smiled, feeling delighted. So even big shots are curious about these things? Great, Chairman Jiang isn't arrogant, and his friends aren't either. She's exceptionally beautiful. With these clues, Su Tianhe felt an indescribable sensation in his heart. He felt like he was on the verge of discovering something, but it was just out of reach. Brother Su, what are you thinking? This outfit is perfect for you. Pick one? I'll cover the bill? Suddenly, Zhang Yi's voice brought Su Tianhe back to reality. Oh, yes, it's quite nice. I'll try it on. Su Tianhe replied. At that moment, a Maserati Quattroporte slowly drove out of New Century Plaza. Inside the car, Jiang Chen asked Su Zining. What do you want to eat? Just now, Su Zining wasn't hungry, she just didn't dare to re-enter New Century Plaza. She was afraid of running into her father. But now, seeing Jiang Chen's profile, she was hungry. She pouted. Well, you can eat whatever you want. Jiang Chen suddenly remembered that last time he said he'd take Su Zining out for beef noodles. Exactly what he was craving now. Let's go to the beef noodle place downstairs from my house. Su Zining was stunned, her eyes full of stars. She didn't even catch what she was supposed to eat. She only heard it was going to Jiang Chen's home. Jiang Chen, home. Okay. Hee, what if Jiang Chen suddenly decides to take me to his bedroom? Wow. Just thinking about it makes me blush. Su Zining turned her head to look out the window, where a streak of evening glow was hanging on the horizon. It was exceptionally beautiful, matching the blush on her face. Perhaps, even the sky is in love today? At the Weiji Beef Noodles in Huajian Garden Community. Which one do you want to try? Jiang Chen handed the menu to Su Zining. Su Zining stared at the dazzling array of noodle names, momentarily at a loss. She handed the menu back to Jiang Chen. I'll have what you usually order. My own choice might not be as tasty. But what Jiang Chen usually eats must be good. Don't tell me tastes are subjective, Jiang Chen's taste is my taste. Jiang Chen smiled faintly and called out. Boss, 2 bowls of traditional beef noodles. The boss, a middle-aged man, was busy making noodles in the kitchen. Upon hearing the familiar voice, he looked up and saw Jiang Chen's face, smiling warmly. Ah, it's little Jiang. Oh, you brought your girlfriend here today? She's really pretty. Su Zining's eyes widened, meeting the boss's gaze. She smiled shyly and quickly looked down. While cooking, the boss remarked. Little Jiang, your girlfriend is a bit shy. Looks like she's a good girl. You're lucky. Jiang Chen teased. She's still a bit of a child, so she's indeed a little shy. Of course, Su is a little shy. Su Zining gave Jiang Chen a pretend angry look. Pouting, she said. Are you really on such good terms with the noodle shop boss? Jiang Chen pointed to himself and chuckled. Your husband is a social genius. But, darling, you're giving off a really strange vibe right now. It's like a wife being shy when her husband's family asks her questions. Su Zining playfully pouted, cupping her face with her hands. Jiang Chen. Shut up. You shouldn't say that. Seeing Su Zining's embarrassed expression, Jiang Chen was even more amused. TSK, wasn't it you who hugged me in front of so many employees? Now you're shy? Su Zining pursed her lips, clenched her small pink fists, and playfully threatened stop talking. I don't even know how to face the R&D department employees in the future. Jiang Chen shrugged and reassured Su Zining. Oh, don't worry. They all think you're my cousin. Su Zining? Cousin? Why? Just then, the boss brought the noodles over. Jiang Chen handed Su Zining chopsticks while briefly explaining the notable achievements of the little wolf. Su Zining giggled. Eat more meat. The portions in their bowls were particularly large and meaty. Jiang Chen placed a few pieces of meat into Su Zining's bowl and said gently. You'll gain weight. Su Zining hesitated and said.
It's fine if you gain a little weight. You'll be more cuddly.
A slight blush appeared on Su Zining's face as she nodded obediently.
Jiang Chen quickly finished a large bowl of noodles. Burp, I'm still a bit hungry. As for Su Zining, she was already full. Jiang Chen, are you still hungry? Here, eat this. Su Zining's bowl was empty because she had planned ahead. When she saw the large bowl of noodles, she knew she wouldn't be able to finish it. Wasting food is a bad habit. So she specifically got an empty bowl. She was worried Jiang Chen might not be full. And she didn't want Jiang Chen to eat her leftovers. Jiang Chen looked at the half bowl of noodles and couldn't help but smile wryly. Even if it was his own wife, how could he complain?
No need to set it aside next time, I don't mind.
Jiang Chen said with a gentle smile. Who would mind a top beauty like Su Zining?
Su Zining blushed and nodded shyly. When they left the noodle shop, the boss even gave Su Zining a small gift.
It was a little toy.
Looking at the sky that was turning slightly dark and then at the entrance of Huajin Garden Community, Su Zining suddenly didn't want to go to Jiang Chen's home.
She was very anxious.
What if, once inside Jiang Chen's home, she couldn't help just?
No, it's too forward. There's plenty of time. Let's wait until daytime. Should I drive you home?
Jiang Chen's voice echoed in her ear, and Su Zining was startled.
Ha! Jiang Chen is right at the doorstep.
She could just drive home herself, why does she need Jiang Chen to drive her?
I'll drive myself.
Jiang Chen smiled faintly.
Let me give you a ride.
Mainly because Jiang Chen was full and needed to digest.
It was a good choice to drop his wife off as well. Su Zining did want to spend more time with Jiang Chen.
She nodded excitedly.
Then I'll trouble my little boyfriend. Yanluo Lake Villa District.
The Maserati Quattroporte slowly stopped.
Let's stop here. I won't go in. Otherwise, if I go in, the security might catch me when I come out. High-end Villa District security is strict.
They recognize the faces and license plates of the residents.
For strangers, even going out, they have to check to avoid thieves. Jiang Chen found it too troublesome. All right.
Su Zining and Jiang Chen both got out of the car.
As they approached each other,
they exchanged a smile.
Jiang Chen felt a warm embrace from Su Zining. Thank you for our first date, my little boyfriend. I'm really happy. Jiang Chen ruffled Su Zining's little head, saying affectionately. Sorry about being interrupted by my mom today. Next time, let's have a proper date. Su Zining nodded obediently. One more hug. Just 5 more minutes, then Jiang Chen can go home quickly.
10 minutes later, Su Zining reluctantly released her hold.
Fortunately, they parked in a relatively secluded spot, otherwise
the car would have attracted attention from other residents or security by now.
Shall I head home now? Jiang Chen nodded.
Yes. Su Zining pouted playfully and headed to her car. Jiang Chen turned around and started his digestion plan. But then, light footsteps approached from behind. Su Zining suddenly stood in front of Jiang Chen, tiptoeing. Gently, she kissed Jiang Chen on the face.
Little boyfriend. Go home soon.
After saying this, Su Zining hurriedly got into the car like a fleeing little rabbit.
Jiang Chen's lips curled into a slight smile. This girl, always taking advantage.
The Maserati sped into the Villa District like a puff of smoke.
Su Zining was incredibly excited. After parking the car, she opened the door to her home.
It seemed her parents were watching TV in the living room. She was now blushing all over.
If Su Tianhe and Li Mei saw her like this, that would be a disaster. Su Zining had to act as usual. Calm, serious, heading straight to her room. She'd save the silly grins for later,
Clearing her throat, Su Zining walked through the living room, heading for the second floor. She was perfectly composed, maintaining her usual icy, serious demeanor.
But Su Zining overlooked one thing. Usually, her professional attire was semi-permanent. Now, seeing their daughter in a shirt and skirt, Su Tianhe and Li Mei on the sofa were stunned. They exchanged looks of shock. What the heck? Ning Ning is dressed so sweet and lovely today? It's completely out of the ordinary. Ching. Although Su Tianhe had a rough idea of why Su Zining was dressed this way, he still couldn't help but call out. "What's wrong?" Su Zining was startled and turned around to ask. She hadn't noticed anything unusual about her outfit. Her demeanor in this outfit seemed entirely natural. Her usual cold and aloof air seamlessly transitioned into the current composed and cool demeanor. However, being called by Su Tianhe made Su Zining feel a little uneasy. Could Dad have noticed something? That shouldn't be the case. Dad is usually quite clueless. Su Tianhe got up from the sofa and approached his beloved daughter with a smile. "Qingqing, weren't you at the office today?" Su Zining was startled and looked at Su Tianhe in confusion. How did Dad know? Could it be that Uncle Tang told him? Seeing Su Zining's suspicious expression, Su Tianhe shrugged helplessly. "Qingqing must think someone reported her to me. I figured that with you dressed like this, you couldn't have gone to the office. Out having fun? Did you enjoy yourself?" Su Tianhe had hit the nail on the head. Su Zining's expression changed suddenly as she realized. She was still wearing that JK uniform. Actually, she had planned to change back into her regular clothes after the date with Jiang Chen. But Jiang Chen was too tempting, and after Su Zining had sneakily kissed him just now, she was so full of shyness and joy that she completely forgot about changing. "Ah!" Su Zining exclaimed in panic and ran upstairs without saying another word explained to Dad. Her mind was still on Jiang Chen. She didn't know how to explain. However, Su Zining didn't notice that as she panicked and jumped up, a green card fell out of the side pocket of her skirt. Su Tianhe naturally noticed something falling. He bent down to pick it up, sighing with a smile. "So my daughter is still love-struck. She never used to be so forgetful." Upon closer inspection, oh? Isn't this the card I gave Qingqing for her pocket money? Every month, Su Tianhe would deposit 1 million into this card. Although it wasn't much and his daughter didn't need it, he kept doing it because Su Zining was still young. So Qingqing used this card to spend money today? Suddenly, Su Tianhe was shocked. He loved to boast, but there were two things he never bragged about his precious daughter's angelic beauty. His sensitivity to numbers. 6302. 0118, isn't this the card number Jiang Chen used today? At that moment, he had a feeling of the clouds parting and the sun rising. "Wife, take a look yourself, I'm going to the study." Briefly explaining to Li Mei, Su Tianhe rushed to the study. He took out his phone and called his secretary. "Check the spending records for the card I gave Qingqing, the one ending in 0118. Get the finance department to investigate the transaction history." 2 minutes later, the secretary called back. "Mr. Su, these spending records are intermittent. In the past 6 months, there was only one spending today, with 2 transactions. Totaling around 600,000. Su Tianhe asked. "When was it?" The secretary replied. "Around 4 p.m. today." Su Tianhe. In Huajian Court. Jiang Chen was preparing to team up with Little Wolf for a game day off tomorrow, so why not rank up today? But he wasn't in a hurry to start the game. Instead, he opened the system store and looked for the villa he had been dreaming of. Today he earned 4,000 bond points from 2 hidden missions. Plus Jiang Chen's check-in and Su Zining's kiss. Now, he had exactly 10,000 points. Enough to exchange for a villa. System, exchange for the Juanfu No. 1 villa. Ding, detected that the product you wish to exchange for has low cost effectiveness. You have 1 minute to reconsider. Jiang Chen? What, I can't exchange it? Damn, I've been saving bond points for a house, and now you say the cost effectiveness is low? Actually, Jiang Chen was more accustomed to living in an apartment, it was cozier. A villa, though luxurious, felt empty for one person. But the system store didn't have apartments. System, it does. Suggest the host check further back in the store. Jiang Chen frowned slightly. Why is the system so active today? Seems like he needed to scold it more. If there were apartments, he couldn't exchange for them. The Juanfu No 1 villa, even if he didn't live in it. Selling it would make enough to buy many apartments. Is the system taking me for a fool? Jiang Chen grumbled but still scrolled back through the exchange list. Damn! When Jiang Chen saw the apartment listings, he was stunned. Also Huajian Court, but it was from Phase 2, a new development. The key point was Huajian Court Premium Building, exchange requirement, 10,000 bond points. A whole building. Give me this. Jiang Chen shouted out. As expected, this time the system didn't warn him about low cost effectiveness.
Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully exchanging for a premium building in Huajian Court X1. The next moment, a bundle of property certificates and a stack of keys appeared beside Jiang Chen. Standing on the balcony, he could see the premium building. A total of 26 floors, 4 units per floor, that's 104 premium apartments? Each worth around 3 to 4 million. That's over 300 million? Damn, this thing is indeed cost-effective. Jiang Chen swallowed hard. So, this building is all mine now? After being stunned for a while, it was the phone ringing that brought Jiang Chen back to his senses. Little Wolf anxiously shouted. Chen Gu, what are you doing? Why didn't you join the invite? Jiang Chen smirked. What am I doing? Admiring the premium building I just exchanged for. Damn, let's rank up. With a swish, Jiang Chen became the proud owner of an entire building. Yanluo Lake. Su Zining had already changed into a pink pajama. She had turned her skirt's pocket and the bag she carried today inside out. But she couldn't find the card she used to pay at the Prada store today. She remembered putting it directly in the pocket of her skirt after paying. Since the pocket was shallow, Su Zining had been careful to check it while shopping. How could she not find it? Maybe it fell in the car? Su Zining thought she would check the car tomorrow morning if it's still missing. She'd have to freeze the card and wait for Dad to report it lost. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Xing, may I come in? Su Tianhe's voice came through. Su Zining thought about how she had been caught by Dad and Mom wearing the JK uniform. Her face turned red with embarrassment. So shameful. No. Su Tianhe chuckled. I have something important to discuss with you. About the company. Su Zining hesitated for a moment but still opened the door for Su Tianhe. Su Tianhe looked serious, but Su Zining could still detect a hint of a smirk in his expression. Dad, what's the matter? Su Tianhe waved his hand. Actually, it's not something particularly important. Just that I heard from Uncle Tang that there's a genius at our company. A perfect research and development plan, Jiang Chen, right? I'd like to talk to you about this person. Talk about Jiang Chen? Why? Did Dad discover something? Su Zining was momentarily flustered and stammered. He really is exceptionally talented, Uncle Tang wasn't wrong. Though she was caught off guard by her father's sudden mention of Jiang Chen, Su Zining didn't hide her praise. For now, just sing Jiang Chen's praises to Dad. Later, I'll bring Jiang Chen home. Look, Dad, this outstanding man is your son-in-law. It's amusing just thinking about it. Su Zining couldn't help but smile slightly. And this happened to be caught by Su Tianhe. Good girl, you're so obviously smitten with Jiang Chen. You're just short of pasting the words I like Jiang Chen on your face. Su Tianhe pretended to be excited, slapping his thigh. That's great, I love young people with brains. Xing, bring him home sometime so I can meet him too. Su Zining almost choked on her own saliva. Bring Jiang Chen home now? No way. Su Tianhe was taken aback. What do you mean no way? Su Zining's right hand was already clenched into a small fist where her father couldn't see. Su Zining pouted and turned her head. I'm afraid he's too outstanding, and you'll steal my employee. In short, I'm not bringing him. Su Tianhe sighed, putting on a regretful expression. He stood up, his back looking very lonely. Well then. Oh, by the way, here's the bank card you dropped downstairs. Don't be so forgetful in the future. Saying that, Su Tianhe left Su Zining's bedroom. Inside the room, Su Zining let out a long sigh. She grabbed the card from the table. It was the one she used for the payment. Phew. Glad it wasn't lost. Su Zining's expression was cute as she carefully tucked the card into the front page of her diary. Now it won't get lost. Losing the card and the money inside is a small matter. The main thing is that this was the payment card for the gift she bought Jiang Chen for the first time. I must keep it safe. Su Zining didn't know that after leaving her room, Su Tianhe, like a runaway duck, went to the kitchen and opened a bottle of flying mutai. He poured himself a glass and drank it in one gulp. Refreshing. I've never felt so good. Su Tianhao realized he had been deceived by Jiang Chen before. That graph necklace was bought by Jiang Chen himself. And his precious daughter's boyfriend was actually Jiang Chen's younger brother. Su Tianhao finally understood after all this time. However, he didn't hold any grudge against Jiang Chen. Instead, he admired Jiang Chen even more. Cautious and intelligent, he was truly a model of contemporary youth. Oh no, a model son-in-law. Simply put, a dragon-in-law. Huajian Court. At 11 o'clock, Jiang Chen and Little Wolf had won 4 games in a row and ended the session satisfied. He opened QQ to find Su Zining. Jiang Chen, honey, are you asleep? Su Zining replied instantly as usual. Su Xiaoxiao, not yet, thinking about you. After spending a few days with Jiang Chen, Su Zining had opened up her heart. She wasn't as reserved and restrained as at first. Jiang Chen smiled and replied. Jiang Chen, but I don't want you. I'm still upset. Su Xiaoxiao, what's wrong? Jiang Chen, you left right after taking advantage of me today, and I didn't get a chance to kiss you back. If he guessed correctly, Su Zining should be blushing on the other end? Jiang Chen couldn't help but imagine. After a sweet exchange, they both wished each other good night. Saturday is precious and anticipated for most office workers. But for Jiang Chen, it was no different from any other day. Just that one was in the office watching dramas and playing games, and the other was at home doing the same. Jiang Chen had originally planned to look for Su Zining to complete hidden tasks. But unfortunately, Su Zining had gone to handle documents for the company at this moment. Jiang Chen, adhering to the principle of never going to the office on vacation, was lying comfortably on the sofa, pondering the building he exchanged for last night. Rent it out? Jiang Chen wasn't very confident because, in his previous life, there had been cases of real estate agencies going bankrupt. He couldn't remember which one, and he was afraid of falling into a trap. Leaving it as is, he felt a bit unwilling. Just as he was struggling to find a good use for it, his phone rang.